My child, still your heart and listen to me now, because what I am about to speak carries the weight of eternity pressing gently against the single moment. Stop everything. I need to tell you something is not just a title. It is my command to your spirit, a divine interruption meant to pull you out of the noise, the rush, and the silent battles you've been fighting alone. You are standing at the edge of a turning point, and I refuse to let you walk past it unaware. Hear me. What comes next is meant to awaken you, realign you, and breathe life back into the places you thought were beyond repair. Stop for a moment, my child. Yes, you. Right now, in the middle of everything racing through your mind. Stop, because I am speaking to you. You think you are just scrolling, just passing time, but I have stepped into this moment to interrupt you on purpose. You have been moving fast on the outside while something deep inside you has been quietly breaking down, and I will not let you keep going like this without my voice meeting you here. You fill your days with noise, tasks, obligations, and expectations. But when it grows quiet, when the lights go off and the world finally stops demanding from you, there is a heaviness that presses on your chest that you cannot explain away. And it is that weight I am talking to right now. I see how you wake up already tired in your soul, how you push yourself through the day with a strength you pretend you have, how you smile when you are expected to, and say, "I'm fine," when your heart is whispering, "I'm not." I see you, and I am not distant from you. I am closer than your next breath, listening to every silent prayer you never speak out loud. You have been longing for a moment where someone tells you, you can stop trying to hold it all together, and that is what I am telling you now. You can stop. You can breathe. You can collapse into my presence without fear that I will judge you, reject you, or grow tired of you. You think that if you slow down, everything will fall apart, but much of what you are holding is not yours to carry. Some of it is fear. Some of it is pride, some of it is the expectations of others, and all of it is too heavy without me. I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to be still, to let your guard down, to let your heart exhale in my presence. Do you realize how long it has been since you truly rested? Not just your body, but your mind, your emotions, your spirit. You keep moving because you are afraid of what you will feel if you stop. But I am here in the very place you are afraid to go. In the stillness, I will not overwhelm you with condemnation. I will meet you with compassion. In the quiet, I will not replay your failures. I will remind you of my love. In the pause, I will not accuse you. I will heal you. I am calling you to stillness, not as a punishment, but as a refuge. I want you to know what it is to sit with me without needing to perform, to impress, to explain. You do not have to have the right words. You only need to be honest. Let the mask slip. Let the tears rise if they need to. Let the questions surface. I can handle your confusion, your anger, your disappointment, your doubts. I am not fragile. I am your Father. I am not insecure. I am your Creator. I am not surprised by where you are right now. I have been walking with you through every hidden valley that no one else has noticed. So in this moment, hear me clearly. Stop running from your own heart. Stop numbing what aches. Stop pretending that you're okay when you know you are not. Sit with me here, in the sacred pause. Let everything else wait. Let the world move around you while you rest in me. This stillness I am calling you into is not emptiness. It is the place where I begin to speak life back into your weary soul. Listen to me now, because the weight you've been carrying has become louder in heaven than your own words. You don't realize how heavy your spirit has become because you've been carrying that weight for so long that it feels normal to you. But I see the strain beneath your smile, the exhaustion behind the determination you try so hard to maintain. and the way your heart tightens each time you think of the responsibilities you've taken on, the expectations you've tried to meet, and the burdens you never asked for but somehow inherited. You think you've been managing it well, but I have watched you quietly crumble in ways no one else has noticed. Those moments when you close your eyes just to steady yourself, when you breathe a little deeper hoping the heaviness will lift, when you keep going because you don't believe you have permission to stop. I have seen every bit of it, and I have carried what you could not. The throne you imagine as distant and unreachable has been moved closer to your breaking point, because I do not wait for you to be strong before I pay attention. I move toward you the very moment your spirit trembles. You have whispered prayers you didn't even recognize as prayers, fragments of thoughts like I can't do this, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do anymore. And each one reached me long before you thought to form them into words. Nothing you carry is invisible to me. You may not have told anyone how close you are to shutting down, but I have felt the ache you've tried to hide, the pressure pressing on your chest at night, the unresolved emotions stacking themselves silently in your heart. And I tell you this now, you were never meant to handle this alone. The weight you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you have carried more than any one person should. You've been trying to solve everything, fix everything, and hold everything together through your own strength, but your strength was never meant to be your only resource. Come to me with a heaviness, not when you feel strong enough, not when you figured things out, not when you've tidied your emotions, but now, exactly as you are. Let me shoulder what has been crushing you. Let me hold what you're terrified to admit. Let me take what is slowly draining the life out of you. I am not waiting for you to earn my help. I am moving toward you because you need it. Even now, the weight you carry is shifting, not because it has become lighter, but because I am taking hold of it with you. You are not alone in this. You never were. You never will be. Let yourself feel me lifting you, drawing you near, reminding your soul that you were never designed to carry the world, only to walk with me while I carry you through it. Do you know that I have heard the cries of your heart even when not a single tear ever reached your eyes? You've mastered the art of staying composed, keeping calm, holding yourself steady, but inside, there are echoes of unspoken pain that you've never allowed anyone to witness. You've learned to silence your emotions because life taught you that being strong meant being silent, being resilient meant being numb, and being responsible meant never letting anyone see how deeply you were hurting. But I have been present in the quiet moments when your heart trembled with questions, when your chest tightened with unspoken grief, when your thoughts spiraled into places you were afraid to acknowledge. I heard you long before you dared to call it pain. I heard the sorrow beneath your laughter, the fatigue beneath your determination, the yearning behind your prayers. There are wounds you've carried for years, some caused by disappointment, some by betrayal, some by the simple fact that you never felt fully seen or understood. And though the world around you may overlook them, I never have. Your heart cries differently than your voice. It speaks through restlessness, through late-night thoughts, through sudden waves of emotion you can't explain. I have heard every cry, and I have been holding every broken piece even when you felt completely alone. You've become so good at pretending you're fine that you started believing the lie that you should be fine. But I am not fooled by the masks you've learned to wear. I see the tenderness of your spirit, the sensitivity you hide, the longing you try to ignore. Even the tears you refuse to shed, the ones you swallow back before anyone can notice. Those tears speak me a language that needs no words. You don't need to fear vulnerability with me. You don't need to worry that I will judge your weakness or dismiss your pain. I created your heart. I know how deeply it feels, how fiercely it loves, how quietly it breaks. So let yourself be honest with me. Let yourself tremble. Let yourself release the emotions you've tried to bury. You are not too much for me to handle. You are not too emotional. You are not too complicated. You are mine, and I welcome every hidden ache you carry. Lean into me, not with polished prayers but with raw honesty. Let me sit with you in the quiet, where your soul speaks its truth. Let me comfort you in ways no human ever could. You don't need to hide from me. I have seen your heart's quiet cries, and I am already holding you in a way that brings healing, not shame. Let those quiet cries lead you closer to me, for I am the one who turns silence into strength. Hear me clearly. The war happening inside your mind has never gone unseen by me. The thoughts that keep you awake at night, the fears that circle your heart like predators, the doubts that whisper lies into your spirit. I have watched you face them again and again, often without anyone around you realizing the intensity of what you battle. You look so put together on the outside, but inside, you've walked through storms that would have shattered others. I have seen the moments when intrusive thoughts tried to convince you that you're not enough, that you're failing, that you're falling behind. I have seen the way anxiety creeps in during the smallest moments, how overthinking steals your peace, how one fearful thought can spiral into 1,000. I have seen the nights when your mind feels like a battlefield, when sleep escapes you, when your heart races without reason. And I have been standing beside you through every single moment, not distant, not indifferent, but fiercely present. Your mind has been attacked not because you are weak, but because you are valuable. The enemy of your soul recognizes the potential within you, the influence you carry, the strength you don't fully see, the calling that still sleeps beneath your fatigue. And he has tried to plant lies to keep you from stepping into who you are becoming. He knows that if he can overwhelm your thoughts, he can weaken your confidence. If he can distort your perception, he can delay your purpose. If he can convince you that you're alone, he can drain your hope. But every lie he has spoken, I have countered with truth. Every fear he has whispered, I have covered with my presence. Every thought that has threatened to unravel you, I have confronted with my peace. Peace that hasn't abandoned you even on the days you felt like you were losing control. I am not waiting for you to win the battle before I help you. I'm strengthening you in the middle of it. You are not fighting alone, not a single moment. Every time your thoughts spiraled but you didn't break, it was because I held you together. Every time you felt overwhelmed but kept moving, it was because my hand steadied you. Every time fear rose but didn't consume you, it was because my presence surrounded you. And I will continue to fight for your mind. I will continue to protect your peace. I will continue to silence the lies that try to drown you. Lean into me as you think, as you fear, as you question. Let me be the voice that steadies you when your thoughts grow loud. Let me be the calm in your internal storm. You are not your thoughts. You are mine, and I will bring clarity, peace, and rest to the places where the battle has been fiercest. Let me tell you something you've been sensing but haven't had the words for. You are standing at a turning point, and nothing around you feels stable because everything within you is shifting. You've been feeling unsettled, almost as if life has been nudging you from every direction, pulling you away from old patterns, old comfort zones, old versions of yourself. You've been trying to explain it away, blaming stress, circumstances, people, timing. But the truth is far deeper. I have begun a work in you that can no longer fit inside the life you've been trying to maintain. That pressure you feel isn't punishment. It's the breaking open of something sacred inside you. You're outgrowing things without meaning to. You're craving clarity without fully understanding why. You're becoming someone new, even while holding on to pieces of who you used to be. And that tension hurts. Yes, I know it does. But it is the very sign that you are crossing into a new season that requires a different version of you. You felt confused because this shift isn't loud. It's not marked by fireworks or dramatic signs. It's subtle, quiet, almost imperceptible. But it is real. You're discovering that the things that once satisfied you no longer do. That the distractions you used to turn to no longer quiet your spirit. That the routines you depended on no longer feel right. This is because I am disrupting what has dulled you, removing what has numbed you, awakening what has been asleep inside you for far too long. You've been walking through life with pieces of yourself tucked away, buried under responsibility, weariness, disappointment, and survival mode living. But I am calling those pieces to the surface. I am reviving the parts of you that you thought were gone, the passion, the purpose, the dreams you gave up on, the courage you forgot you had. Do not resist this turning point. Do not fear it. You are not losing control, you are being repositioned. I am shifting you away from the places where you've settled and toward the place you were designed for. I am changing the way you think, the way you see yourself, the way you respond to life. And though it feels messy and uncertain, it is holy. You are not standing on random ground. You are standing on threshold ground. This is where old cycles break, where new strength rises, where clarity begins to form in the fog. Let yourself move with me. Let yourself release the things that no longer align with who you are becoming. You are not going backward. You are not stuck. You are not drifting. You are turning toward destiny, toward healing, toward fullness, toward me. Before you rush into your next task, hear this. I have interrupted your pace deliberately, because the speed you were moving at was costing you pieces of your soul. You've been walking so fast through life, mentally, emotionally, physically, that you no longer recognize the toll it has taken on your heart. You move the way someone does when they're afraid of being still, afraid of feeling, afraid of facing what lies beneath the surface. You've adopted a pace that numbs you, a rhythm that distracts you, a lifestyle that keeps you functional but not fulfilled. And I love you too much to let you continue like this. So yes, I have slowed things down around you. I have allowed delays, interruptions, moments of stillness that you didn't ask for. You thought they were inconveniences, frustrations, disappointments, but they were invitations. Invitations to breathe. Invitations to listen. Invitations to step out of survival mode and step into my presence. You see, when you move too quickly, you begin to live reactively instead of intentionally. You begin to lose the sensitivity of your spirit. You begin to ignore the quiet signals your heart has been sending. You begin to forget your need for me. And I know that beneath your busy pace, there is a soul that is tired of holding it together, tired of pretending, tired of racing toward goals that weren't always meant for you, tired of living up to expectations that never came from me. So I slowed things down, not to punish you, not to frustrate you, but to save you from losing yourself. There have been moments recently when you felt stuck, moments when things didn't go according to your plans, moments when everything felt paused. But you didn't realize that those pauses were me placing my hand gently on your shoulder, whispering, "Stop running. Stand still. Let me speak." I needed you to notice what you've been avoiding. I needed you to acknowledge what has been hurting. I needed you to release what you've been gripping too tightly. This interruption is not random. It is surgical. It is me redirecting your path, recalibrating your spirit, giving you room to breathe again. Don't resist this divine slowdown. Let it soften you. Let it open you. Let it restore you. You're not meant to sprint through life with a clenched jaw and an overwhelmed heart. You're meant to walk with me step for step, breath for breath, day by day. Let my interruption become your awakening. Let my pause become your revival. Let my gentleness become the place where you learn to live again. Not hurried, not frantic, but whole. Lean in closer now, because what I am about to tell you is something your soul has been longing for far longer than you realize. You've been searching, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unconsciously, for something you couldn't quite identify. You looked for it in people, in achievements, in stability, in comfort, in distractions. But none of it filled the emptiness the way you hoped it would. That emptiness wasn't a flaw. It was a signal that there is a part of you only I can reach, a need only I can satisfy, a hunger only my presence can answer. For years, you've been functioning while something inside you remained unmet, untouched, unresolved. You didn't always have the language to describe it. You just felt a quiet ache, a lingering restlessness, a subtle yearning that followed you even in your happiest moments. And I have watched you carry that longing like a hidden wound. What I have for you is not another temporary fix. It is not another human-made solution. It is not another fleeting comfort. What I have for you is restoration, the restoration of your inner world, your peace, your identity, your connection to me. You have needed my voice speaking directly to your heart. You have needed my reassurance reminding you that you are not forgotten, not overlooked, not alone. You have needed the healing that goes deeper than any surface-level relief. You have needed the renewal of hope, the revival of dreams, the rebuilding of your strength. And I am giving you these things now, not because you earned them, but because you were never meant to live without them. You may think you've been waiting on me, but the truth is, I've been waiting for you, waiting for the moment when your heart would be quiet enough to hear me, open enough to receive me, honest enough to let me in where it hurts. You don't have to pretend for me. You don't have to hide. You don't have to be stronger, smarter, braver, or more put together. Come as you are, tired, uncertain, hopeful, hurting, and I will meet you with what you've needed for so long. My presence that lifts the heaviness, my love that fills the emptiness, my peace that calms the chaos, my clarity that cuts through confusion. Let me give you what your soul has been quietly craving all these years. Let me be what you have been searching for but could never find anywhere else. Let me become the answer your heart has been whispering for in the quiet. Before you go searching for another sign, another confirmation, another explanation, hear me when I tell you this. The answer you've been pleading for is not a thing, it is me. You spent so much time wrestling with questions, trying to piece together clarity from fragments of circumstances, trying to interpret what every delay, every shift, every closed door might mean. You've been looking for direction the way someone searches the ground for dropped coins, desperate, scanning, kneeling, hoping to find what will finally make everything make sense. But all along, what your spirit had been aching for is not a specific solution, not a detailed plan, not a clear map. It have been aching for my presence. You've asked me to fix situations, but the deeper cry of your heart has always been for me to fill the emptiness you didn't know how to name. You thought your peace would come from answers, but your peace will come from my nearness. You thought breakthrough would come from figuring everything out, but breakthrough begins when you let me become the one you rely on instead of the things you chase. You want clarity, but clarity without me won't satisfy you. You want direction, but direction without me won't sustain you. You want resolution, but resolution without me won't heal you. You have prayed and waited and wondered why certain prayers seemed unanswered, but I was never ignoring you. I was drawing you deeper. I was pulling you closer. I was waiting for you to look for me, not just what you wanted me to do. Because when you find me, you receive more than an answer. You receive the peace, the strength, the wisdom, and the courage you need for every answer that hasn't arrived yet. I am not withholding from you. I am inviting you into something richer than you expected. You don't have to keep chasing signs. You don't have to keep overthinking. You don't have to keep straining your heart trying to make sense of every detail. Rest in me first, and everything else will begin to align. Let this truth settle into the places where anxiety hath been living. You are not waiting for an answer. You are being guided by the answer himself. I am your clarity, your direction, your reassurance, your peace. And when you come to me, you will find that the answers you longed for either become clear or no longer overwhelm you, because my presence will steady you in ways clarity never could. Stop searching the horizon. Look at me. I am what your soul has been seeking all along. Listen closely. The restlessness inside you is not a flaw. It is the echo of your soul calling you back to me. You've been moving through life with a constant undercurrent of agitation, a subtle uneasiness you can't quite explain, a sense that no matter how much you accomplish or how hard you try, something inside you remains unsettled. You've interpreted that restlessness as anxiety, or discontentment, or frustration, but it is something deeper than all of that. It is the feeling of a soul that has been running ahead faster than the spirit meant to guide it. You've been operating on your own strength, trying to make decisions without pausing long enough to let me speak into them. You've been trying to create your own path, your own certainty, your own peace, but peace cannot be self-manufactured. It only comes when your steps align with my presence, not just your plans. You filled your life with noise to drown out the unease, busyness, distractions, responsibilities, routines, but none of it has quieted the restlessness because the restlessness is spiritual, not circumstantial. You've been moving but not truly abiding. You've been striving but not truly resting. You've been surviving, but not truly living in the flow of my grace. I know how exhausted your spirit is, even when your body appears strong. I know how overwhelmed your thoughts are, even when your face remains composed. I know how weary your heart has become, even when you keep telling others you're fine. And I am not here to scold you for running ahead. I am here to gently draw you back. Come back into step with me. When you walk with me instead of relying on your own pace, restlessness dissolves. When you let me guide your decisions instead of letting fear guide them, confusion lifts. When you choose my presence over your pressure, peace rises inside you like a steadying force. You don't have to carry the weight of your future on your own. You don't have to pretend you have all the answers. You don't have to manage everything to feel safe. What you truly need is not more control. It is more connection. Connection to me. When your soul returns to me, the restlessness will no longer feel like a storm but like a signal that has served its purpose. Let me quiet the waters within you. Let me bring you into the rhythm of peace you've been aching for. You've been running without me, but you don't have to anymore. Before you take another step, hear this with a clarity that cuts through every lie you've believed. I am not angry with you. You've carried this fear quietly, sometimes without even realizing it. This suspicion that maybe I am disappointed in you. Maybe I am distant because of your mistakes. Maybe I am silent because you've somehow failed me. You've looked back at past choices, past regrets, past moments of weakness, and you've wondered whether those things have built a wall between us. But let me dismantle that lie right now. I am not disappointed in you, not ashamed of you, not frustrated with you. My love does not fluctuate with your perfection. My presence does not retreat when you struggle. My heart does not close when yours is hurting or confused. You've been harder on yourself than I have ever been on you. You've judged yourself harshly for things I forgave long before you forgave yourself. You've replayed your failures over and over in your mind while I have been trying to show you grace that is bigger than every one of them. You've assumed my silence was anger, when in reality it was my patience, waiting for your heart to become still enough to hear me. I do not turn away from you when you stumble. I turn toward you. I do not withdraw when you are overwhelmed. I draw near. I do not distance myself when you feel lost. I seek you out with relentless compassion. You need to understand this. My love for you is not based on your performance, but on my character. And my character is unchanging. I am gentle with your wounds, patient with your growth, merciful with your flaws. I am not keeping a record of your mistakes. I am healing the parts of you that made you stumble in the first place. I do not look at you and see failure. I look at you and see my child, my creation, my beloved, someone I am shaping with care, not condemning with anger. Release the weight of shame. Let go of the fear that I am disappointed in you. Come close without hesitation. You don't have to tiptoe around me. You don't have to wait until you feel worthy. You don't have to fix yourself before coming near. I want you now, as you are, with your uncertainty, your imperfections, your doubts, your fatigue, your hope, your longing. I am not angry with you. I am for you. I am with you. And nothing you have done or will ever do can change the depth of my love for you. Listen closely, because this truth will free you. My silence has never been a sign of my absence. It has been a sign of my intention. You've walked through seasons where it felt like your prayers floated into the air and disappeared, where your questions echoed back at you without answers, where you tried to hear me but all you met was stillness. And in that stillness, you began to assume the wrong things. You thought maybe I was distant, maybe I was disappointed, maybe I was ignoring you, maybe you had done something that caused me to step back. You thought the lack of noise meant the lack of care, but you misunderstood what was happening. My silence was not a wall, it was a womb. A place where I was forming something inside you that could not be rushed by constant instruction, constant signs, constant confirmations. I silence your world when I am speaking most deeply to your soul. There were moments when you begged me for an immediate answer, when you pleaded for clarity, when you hoped for a sign that would ease your fear. But instead, you were met with quiet. You saw it as abandonment, but it was protection. You saw it as distance, but it was preparation. When I am silent, it is because I am working in ways your eyes cannot see. I am aligning circumstances you don't even know exist yet. I am clearing paths you haven't reached. I am shifting things inside you that require stillness, not sound. Silence is where I teach you trust. Silence is where I strengthen your foundation. Silence is where I purify your motives and prepare your heart to receive what you've been praying for without letting the blessing destroy you. You think silence is empty, but it is full of me, full of intention, full of movement. You just can't hear it with your natural ears. And because you couldn't hear me, you assumed I wasn't speaking. But your spirit has been hearing me the whole time. Every moment of clarity that came out of nowhere, every sudden peace that settled on you, every unexpected ounce of strength that kept you going, that was me speaking in ways deeper than words. Silence has never meant distance. It has meant depth. So do not fear it anymore. When I go quiet, it is because I am doing something holy. Hear this with a strength that shakes the lies off of you. You are not falling apart. Even though everything in your life feels like it's breaking, you are being rebuilt. You've been looking at the pieces of your life, the fragments of certainty, the crumbled plans, the parts of you that feel too scattered to recover, and you've been convinced that you're losing yourself. You've mistaken breaking for failing. You've mistaken shaking for collapsing. You've mistaken discomfort for destruction. But the truth is this: Reconstruction always feels like ruin at first. When I rebuild a life, I do not add new pieces on top of old broken foundations. I remove what can't hold the weight of your future. I expose what was weak. I dismantle what was unstable, not to hurt you, but to heal you deeply enough that the next version of your life will not fall under pressure. Right now, you've been feeling emotions you don't normally admit. Fear that you're losing control, fear that you're losing direction, fear that you're not strong enough for the changes happening around you. But what you see as unraveling is actually me removing what was suffocating you. What you see as your life falling apart is actually me making space for what you prayed for. You asked me for growth, for healing, for transformation, for a new season. But newness cannot grow on top of old wounds, old habits, old environments, old identities. I had to break the shell you outgrew. I had to shake what was never meant to stay. I had to remove what kept you small. You are not being destroyed. You are being reshaped. And even though the process feels painful, even though it feels lonely at times, even though it feels uncertain, your spirit knows something is happening. Something real. Something divine. Something irreversible. So do not call this falling apart. Call this becoming. Call this rebuilding. Call this the moment where the version of you that has struggled, survived, endured, and carried so much finally steps aside to make room for the version of you I am raising up. Stronger, clearer, freer, and more aligned with who you were created to be. Nothing about this process is random. Nothing about this pain is wasted. Nothing about this breaking is permanent. You are being remade, and what emerges will be more whole than anything you've ever been before. Let me speak directly to the confusion you've been carrying. Things changed because they had to, not because you failed. You've watched seasons shift suddenly, relationships fade, opportunities dissolve, familiar places lose their comfort, routines break apart, and you've wondered what you did wrong. You replayed decisions, questioned your worth, doubted your ability to hear me, worried that you somehow pushed away what was meant for you. But the truth is far different from what you've imagined. Things changed because I initiated the change. You were becoming too attached to what was only meant to be temporary. You were leaning on things that could not sustain your next level. You were holding on to comfort when you prayed for purpose. And I could not allow you to remain in places that kept you small. You see, change is rarely gentle. It often feels like loss. It often feels like disruption. It often feels like instability. But underneath every uncomfortable shift, there is intention. You asked me to lead you. You asked me to grow you. You asked me to open doors. But what you didn't see is that some doors had to close first. Some ties had to loosen. Some chapters had to end. If I allowed everything to stay the same, you would settle into sameness and miss the future I designed for you. So I changed things. I shook the things you were gripping. I unsettled the things you depended on. I allowed what was seasonal to expire. Not because I was taking from you, but because I was clearing the way. The changes that confused you were actually answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. The shifts that hurt you were actually alignments for blessings you cannot yet see. The endings you didn't understand were the beginnings your spirit was ready for even when your mind wasn't. And though it felt like things were slipping out of your hands, nothing slipped out of mine. Trust this. Anything removed from your life was not meant to carry you forward. Anything that remains, or anything that returns, will be rooted in purpose, not convenience. So release the guilt. Release the confusion. Release the fear that you are losing your way. You are not being stripped. You are being positioned. And everything that changed had to change so you could finally step into what I have been preparing for you all along. Before you grieve another loss, listen to me. I removed certain people from your life because their presence would have damaged the future I am preparing for you. You spent nights wondering what went wrong, questioning whether you said something, did something, or failed in some way to keep people close. But what you call rejection, I call protection. You saw companionship, but I saw the hidden intentions. You saw connection, but I saw the concealed fractures. You saw potential, but I saw the way their influence would have weakened your spirit, drained your strength, or delayed your purpose. Some people were placed in your life for a season, not a lifetime, and when the season ended, you mistook my mercy for loss. You tried to hold on to those who were not meant to stay, not realizing that their departure was me shielding you from burdens you never should have carried and heartbreaks you were never meant to endure. Or conversations you were never meant to hear, betrayals you were never meant to experience, temptations you were never meant to face, and patterns you were never meant to fall into. So I intervened quietly. I allowed distance to form. I allowed their interest to fade. I allowed circumstances to shift the connection. Not because you weren't worthy of loyalty or love, but because you were too precious to be mishandled. Some people you wanted were not aligned with your destiny. Some circles you desired were too small for who you're becoming. Some friendships you valued were never rooted in truth. Had they stayed, you would have settled. Had they stayed, you would have lowered your standards. Had they stayed, you would have compromised parts of yourself to keep peace that wasn't real. So I removed them, not to leave you empty, but to make room for what is divine, intentional, and stable. And yes, I know you still feel the sting of their absence. I know memories still tug at you, and some days you wonder why things had to unfold the way they did. But hear me now, nothing and no one was removed without purpose. I never take without having a plan to give greater. I never disconnect without preparing a healthy connection. I never end a chapter without writing a better one ahead. Trust that the people who left were not part of your future. They were part of your preparation. Trust that I am bringing people into your life whose loyalty won't waver when storms come, whose love won't diminish when you grow, whose presence will strengthen, not weaken, your spirit. Release who left so you can receive who's coming. Your future is too important, your calling too significant, and your spirit too valuable for me to allow the wrong people to stay. Hear this with the clarity your spirit has been longing for. Every door I closed was a door you would have settled for, not the door I designed for you. You looked at certain opportunities and thought, this is it. This is the breakthrough, the blessing, the moment I've been waiting for. And when those doors shut, you felt confused, disappointed, even abandoned. You wondered why everything seemed to line up only to collapse. You questioned whether you misheard me, misunderstood my leading, or misread the signs. But what you didn't realize was that those doors were too small for the purpose I placed inside of you. They looked promising, but they would have limited you. They looked good, but they weren't aligned with greatness. They looked stable, but they were built on foundations that couldn't support your destiny. I closed doors because your heart was leaning toward options that weren't meant to hold you. You saw potential. I saw the ceiling. You saw comfort. I saw confinement. You saw something that would soothe your current pain. I saw something that would sabotage your future joy. Some doors would have led you into environments that would drain your creativity, diminish your confidence, or distract your spirit. Others would have tied you to people or situations that would eventually break you. So I closed them, not in anger, not in disappointment, but in love. You prayed for my will, and closing those doors was my will. You must understand this. When I say no, it is never to harm you. It is to redirect you toward the yes that carries your growth, your calling, your purpose, and your peace. You've shed tears over those closed doors, not realizing that had they opened, you would have cried far more painful ones later. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What you thought was delay was actually protection. What you thought was loss was actually alignment. And the doors that open in the next season won't require you to shrink to fit inside. They won't demand that you betray yourself for acceptance. They won't force you to compromise your values, your peace, or your identity. The right door will not make you beg. The right door will not confuse you. The right door will come with clarity, timing, and grace. So stop mourning what I clothed. Start expecting what I'm preparing. You deserve more than the door you would have settled for, and that is exactly why I closed it. Lean in, because what I'm about to tell you will uncover a truth you never realized. I saw every attack that was designed to break you long before it ever reached you. You think you barely survived certain seasons. But what you don't know is how much I shielded you from. How many traps were set around you. How many schemes formed against you. How many emotional blows were intended to destroy your confidence, your hope, even your sense of self-worth. You didn't see the spiritual battles raging around your life, but I did. I stepped in. I intercepted. I dismantled the weapons aimed at you long before they had the chance to pierce you. You felt the impact. Yes, but not the full force, because I absorbed what you couldn't withstand. There were people who spoke against you behind closed doors, situations that should have taken you under, moments when the weight of life pressed so heavily against you that giving up seemed like the only option. But every time darkness tried to drown you, my hand pulled you back to the surface. Every time the enemy whispered lies to weaken your spirit, my truth fought back. Every time you felt overwhelmed by fear, despair, or confusion, I was covering you with strength you didn't even recognize as mine. You saw the storm, but you didn't see the angels I sent to guard you. You felt the pressure, but you didn't see the battle I fought on your behalf. Some of the attacks came through disappointment, heartbreak, betrayal, insecurity, financial strain, unexpected losses, or sudden changes. And you wondered, why is this happening to me? Why does life feel so heavy? Why do I feel like I'm under so much spiritual weight? It's because the enemy saw what I placed in you. He saw the potential rising. He saw the strength developing. He saw the purpose unfolding. He saw the impact you are destined to make. And he tried, again and again, to break what I am building. But he failed. He failed because I stood between you and every weapon formed against you. He failed because my purpose for you is stronger than any attack. He failed because my hand has never left you. So hear me now. You are not weak. You are not fragile. You are not defeated. You are a survivor of battles you didn't even know you were fighting. You carry resilience that was forged in spiritual fire. And the very attacks that were meant to destroy you have only made you more unshakable, more discerning, more aligned with me. You are rising now, not because the warfare stopped, but because I never allowed it to win. Let me pull back the veil for you. The reason the enemy has fought you so relentlessly is because you belong to me, and he knows exactly who you are becoming. You've looked at your life at times and wondered why the battles have been so intense, why the pressure has been so unyielding, why the warfare has felt personal, almost targeted. You've questioned why you, why now, why this much. But hear me, darkness does not waste its energy on someone with no threat to its agenda. You have always carried a calling, even when you did see it. You have always carried a light, even when you doubted it. You have always carried a purpose, even when you couldn't articulate it. And the enemy recognized the mark of my hand on you long before you recognized it yourself. You didn't understand that some of the heaviness you endured wasn't because you were weak, but because you were dangerous. Dangerous to the shadows, dangerous to the cycles that ran in your family, dangerous to the patterns designed to break you, dangerous to the lies meant to silence your voice. He tried to convince you that you were insignificant, hoping you would never awaken to who you truly are. He tried to overwhelm you with fear, hoping it would drown your courage before it surfaced. He tried to attack your identity, hoping you would never discover the authority and strength that has always been inside you. But despite every attempt, every strategy, every whisper of discouragement, you are still here, and that alone is evidence of my covering over your life. Every attack you survived served a purpose. It sharpened your discernment. It strengthened your resilience and deepened your compassion. It refined your faith. It taught you to depend on me instead of relying on your own ability to navigate storms. And though the battle has been fierce, the enemy's efforts have failed repeatedly because my claim on you is unbreakable. Your life is sealed in my hands. Your destiny is secured by my authority. Your identity is rooted in who I say you are, not in the lies spoken against you. You need to understand this. The pressure you feel is a sign of spiritual significance. The warfare you faced is evidence of spiritual value. And the enemy's intensity toward you reveals more about your calling than your struggle ever will. Do not mistake opposition for abandonment. Do not mistake resistance for weakness. You are fought because you are chosen. You are targeted because you are powerful. You are resisted because what I am shaping inside you threatens everything darkness hoped to accomplish. You are mine, and nothing formed against you will ever override what I have destined for your life. Before you assume you've been unprotected, let me tell you the truth. I have shielded you from more dangers than you will ever know. You see the things that happened, but you have no idea how many things never reached you. You remember the moments that hurt, but you don't know how many moments were rerouted before they had the chance to wound you. You're aware of the battles you faced, but unaware of the countless battles I fought on your behalf without you ever feeling the tremor. There were traps set that you never fell into, because I redirected your steps. There were people who intended harm, but their plans collapsed before they reached your ears. There were decisions you almost made, decisions that would have led you into deep pain. But I intervened quietly through delays, disruptions, or sudden shifts in your spirit. You thought those interruptions were inconveniences. They were shields. There were near accidents you never saw, temptations that would have destroyed your peace, connections that would have drained your strength, environments that would have poisoned your growth. I shut those doors before you even approached them. You did not see the conversations that were spoken against you that I silenced. You did not see the emotional damage I prevented by exposing certain truths at the right time. You did not see the spiritual attacks that dissolved because my presence stood like a wall between you and what sought to break you. You think you survived on resilience, but you survived because my covering never left you for a moment. Even in the seasons when you felt most vulnerable, most uncertain, most exposed, I was guarding you. When you thought you were unprotected, I was standing at your side. When you felt like you were walking alone, I was behind you, before you, and surrounding you. When you thought everything was falling apart, I was holding everything together. You don't realize how many times your bad days could have been catastrophes if my hand hadn't intervened. You don't realize how many moments of confusion could have been breakdowns if I hadn't steadied you. You don't realize how many losses could have been greater if I hadn't limited the impact. My protection is not always visible, but it is constant. You are not surviving by luck. You are surviving because you are loved, guarded, watched over, and kept. And as you move forward, I want you to walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are shielded, not someone hoping for protection, but someone held by it every hour of every day. You have never walked unprotected, and you never will. Let me speak directly into the weariness you've been carrying. I know you have been tired in ways words cannot capture. You've been pushing yourself beyond what you should, carrying weights no one sees, trying to stay strong for people who don't realize how heavy your days have become. You've been functioning on strength that is frayed at the edges, waking each morning with a soul that hasn't fully recovered from the days before. You've been tired not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Tired of uncertainty. Tired of disappointment. Tired of being resilient. Tired of always figuring things out. Tired of pretending you're okay when something inside you feels stretched thin. I have watched you pour into others while secretly feeling empty yourself. I have seen you show up when you wanted to hide. I have seen you hope while wrestling with discouragement. I have seen you try to smile through seasons where your heart felt dim and heavy. And I have not been blind to any of it. Your tiredness is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of humanity, a sign of carrying burdens too long without laying them down at my feet, a sign of fighting battles that were never meant to be fought alone. I don't expect you to be endlessly strong. I don't expect you to pretend you're fine. I don't expect you to carry emotions that were meant to be released in my presence. What I want is your honesty, your vulnerability, your surrender. I want you to bring me your exhaustion instead of hiding it. Bring me your fatigue instead of powering through it. Bring me your empty places instead of trying to fill them with temporary comfort. You don't need to be held together for me. I am the one who holds you. Let me restore you. Not with quick fixes, not with surface-level relief, but with rest that touches the deepest parts of you. Let me breathe strength back into your bones. Let me calm the storm inside your mind. Let me renew your heart until the heaviness lifts. The tiredness you feel is not the end of you. It is the signal that you need to lean. Lean on me, not your effort. Lean into my presence, not your pressure. Lean into the peace I am offering right now. You don't have to pretend anymore. I see you. I understand you. And I am here to restore you in ways sleep alone cannot. You are tired, but you are not alone. I am with you, and I am not letting you fall. Before you believe the lie that I abandoned you, hear this truth. You thought I was quiet, but all along, I was carrying you. You looked at the silence and assumed it meant distance. You interpreted my stillness as withdrawal. You thought my lack of visible intervention meant I was uninterested or inattentive to your pain. But you did realize that in the very moments when you felt the most alone, the most unsure, the most overwhelmed, I was holding you more tightly than ever. There were days when you didn't think you would make it through, days when your strength faltered and your spirit felt faint, yet somehow, you stood back up again. That somehow was me. I was upholding you when your heart was tired. I was steadying you when your emotions were fragile. I was carrying you when your steps felt too shaky to trust. My silence was not absence. It was support. A divine strength wrapped quietly around your weary places. I know there were nights when you sat awake, trying to hold yourself together with nothing but thin hope and trembling thoughts. You whispered things into the darkness that you never admitted to anyone. I don't know if I can keep doing this. I feel like I'm breaking. I don't see the way forward. And you thought no one heard you. But every whispered fear, every silent tear, every tremor of uncertainty, I was there, sheltering you beneath my unseen wings. You didn't feel me because I wasn't asking you to notice me. I was asking you to rest. I wasn't waiting for your prayer to be eloquent. I was waiting for your soul to lean into me without even realizing it was leaning. I was carrying you through every valley your mind tried to navigate alone. You see, when I carry you, it doesn't always feel supernatural. Sometimes it feels like waking up with unexpected strength. Sometimes it feels like finding a small spark of hope where the night before held none. Sometimes it feels like a sudden calm in the middle of panic. Sometimes it feels like a thought that whispers, "Just keep going." These are not coincidences. They are the fingerprints of my grace, the gentle evidence that I have never let you go. My silence is not a void. It is a cushion that keeps you from collapsing. My quiet is not neglect. It is the embrace that holds you steady. So don't misunderstand me anymore. You were never walking unsupported. You were never fighting alone. You were never drowning unnoticed. Even when you felt nothing, saw nothing, and heard nothing, I was carrying you. And I still am. Before you punish yourself with worry, hear me clearly. You have not missed my will, not by accident, not by delay, not by imperfection. You've convinced yourself that somewhere along the way, you took the wrong turn, made a wrong decision, or moved too slowly, and now you fear you've stepped outside of what I intended for you. But my will is not a thin tightrope that you must navigate with flawless precision. My will is a path formed with grace. Grace for your humanity, grace for your mistakes, grace for your uncertainties. You imagine that my plans are fragile, easily broken by your missteps, but what I designed for you cannot be undone by moments of hesitation, confusion, or imperfection. I am bigger than your mistakes. I am stronger than your detours. I am more faithful than your fears allow you to believe. You've been living with the weight of what if I messed everything up. But that weight is not from me. I don't hide my will behind impossible riddles. I don't punish you for trying. I don't withdraw my guidance because you doubted, questioned, or changed direction. Every step you've taken, yes, even the uncertain ones, has been woven into my plan for your life. You haven't disqualified yourself from your purpose. You haven't wandered too far from me to redirect you. You haven't damaged my plans beyond repair. You are still within reach, still within my design, still within the flow of my intention. And do you know why? Because my will is not just a destination. It is a relationship. It is you and me, walking together, moment by moment. I don't expect you to flawlessly interpret every sign. I expect you to seek me. And you have. Even when you doubted, you sought me. Even when you felt lost, you turned your heart toward me. Even when you felt unsure, you tried to follow me. That is not failure. That is faith in motion. So release the pressure. Stop replaying decisions. Stop imagining that you ruined everything. You are not powerful enough to destroy my plan, but you are loved enough to be carried by it. Trust this. As long as your heart is turned toward me, you are exactly where you need to be for the next step I will reveal. You have not missed my will. You are still in the center of my hands, and nothing, not even your own fears, can remove you from the path I have prepared. Listen carefully, because this moment matters. You are closer to your breakthrough than your emotions are telling you. You've been interpreting exhaustion as failure, delay as denial, and difficulty as distance. But what you're feeling right now is not the end. It's the stretching that happens right before the breakthrough arrives. You think the pressure is a sign of collapse, but pressure is often the final signal that something is shifting, cracking open, preparing to emerge. You've prayed, you've waited, you've endured, you've grown, and though your mind tries to convince you that nothing is changing, your spirit knows something is coming. I have been arranging things quietly, aligning details, preparing opportunities, softening hearts, opening pathways, and you're standing closer to the turning point than you can perceive. Breakthrough rarely feels like breakthrough while it's happening. It feels like frustration. It feels like resistance. It feels like spiritual fatigue. It feels like you're giving your all but seeing little return. But breakthroughs are not born in comfort. They are born in the tension where you choose to keep trusting me even when you cannot see the outcome. You have stayed faithful through seasons that would have crushed others. You have prayed even when heaven felt silent. You have kept going even when clarity seemed distant. You have held on even when fear screamed louder than hope. And every moment of perseverance has brought you closer, not farther, from what you've been asking me for. Let me tell you something your discouragement is trying to hide. The ground is shifting beneath your feet. The atmosphere around your life is changing. What once resisted you is beginning to weaken. What once felt impossible is beginning to align. The things that seemed stagnant are gaining movement. Even now, doors are forming that you cannot yet see. Answers are being shaped. Provision is being prepared. Breakthrough does not always announce itself with signs. It often arrives quietly, suddenly, beautifully, at the very moment when you feel least capable of expecting it. So do not give up. Do not retreat into hopelessness. Do not let weariness convince you that nothing is coming. You are on the edge of something you have prayed for, something you have cried for, something your soul has longed for. You are closer than you think, closer than you feel, closer than you realize, closer than your fear wants you to believe. Trust me in this final stretch. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep breathing. Your breakthrough is not far. It is forming right now. Before you take another step in fear, hear me. I need you to trust me again, not cautiously, not partially, but with the fullness of your heart that once believed I could carry you through anything. You've been walking through life like someone bracing for disappointment, expecting things to fall apart, preparing for the worst because you've been hurt before. You've built quiet defenses inside yourself, invisible to others but deeply felt by you. Walls that say, I'll hope, but not too much I'll believe, but only if I'm sure I'll pray, but I won't let my heart get vulnerable again. You don't call it distrust, you call it wisdom, maturity, realism, but I see the tremble beneath it. I see how afraid you are to expect good things. I see how carefully you guard your hope. I see how you give me your faith with one hand while holding on to fear with the other. I am not judging you for this. I understand why you became this way. I know the moments that broke your confidence. I know the prayers that seemed unanswered. I know the disappointments that cut deep. I know the seasons that felt like abandonment. I know the heartbreaks that taught you to hope less so you'd hurt less. And I have compassion for every scar that shaped that thinking. But listen to me. Those scars do not get to dictate the rest of your life. Your past pain cannot be the compass that guides your future with me. I am not the one who betrayed you. I am not the one who walked away. I am not the one who disappointed you. I am the one who sustained you through every storm you thought would break you. Trust me again, not because you understand everything, but because you know me. Trust me again, not because the path is clear, but because I am leading you. Trust me again, not because things are easy, but because I am faithful. Your future requires faith, not fear. The doors I am preparing for you will require your heart to believe again. The blessings I'm aligning will require your spirit to open again. The healing I'm bringing will require you to surrender your defense mechanisms and let me be the one who holds your hope firmly and safely. I am not asking you to trust blindly. I am asking you to trust historically. Look back at what I've carried you through. Look back at the strength I've restored. Look back at the times you thought you were done, and yet you rose again. Trust me, not just with your struggles but with your dreams. Not just with your pain, but with your possibilities. Not just with your survival, but with your future. I need you to trust me again, not for my sake but for yours. Because the next chapter I am leading you into cannot be entered with a guarded heart. It must be entered with a heart that knows, I will not fail you. Let me speak into the place you don't admit aloud. Your faith feels weaker than it used to, but hear me, it is not destroyed. You felt your confidence in spiritual things flicker. You felt prayer become harder. You felt hope stretch thin. You felt doubt whisper louder than certainty. And part of you has been ashamed of that, as if your trembling faith somehow disqualifies you from being loved, guided, or chosen. But hear me clearly. I do not measure your worth by the intensity of your faith. I do not love you more when you are strong or withdraw when you are weak. I have seen every moment when your belief shook under the weight of life's pressures, and not once did I see failure. I saw endurance. I saw someone who refused to quit even when they didn't feel spiritual strength. I saw someone who kept showing up. Someone who kept trying. Someone who held on with whatever thread of belief they had left. Faith is not the absence of struggle. Faith is continuing despite the struggle. And you have continued, even when you felt empty, even when you felt uncertain, even when your prayers were whispered in exhaustion rather than confidence. You think your faith is too fragile, but I see it differently. I see resilience in the fact that you are still here. I see strength in the fact that you haven't walked away, even when your heart felt disconnected. I see courage in the fact that you dared to hope again after disappointment. Weak faith is still faith, and even the smallest ember is enough for me to breathe life into. What you see as damaged, I see as ready for renewal. What you see as insufficient, I see as fertile ground. What you see as barely hanging on, I see as the perfect place for revival to begin. I am not intimidated by your weak moments. They are where my strength shines most clearly. Your faith has been shaken, yes, but it remains, alive, beating, waiting to rise again. And it will. I will rebuild your faith, not with pressure, but with presence. Not with demands, but with reassurance. Not with guilt, but with gentle truth. You are not disqualified. You are not spiritually broken. You are simply being reshaped into someone whose faith is deeper, purer, and more anchored than ever before. Hold on to the little you have. I can work with little. I always have. Give me the flicker, and I will turn it into flame. Your faith is not destroyed. It is evolving. It is becoming stronger than you've ever known. Lean closer now, because I know the questions you've been too afraid, too ashamed, or too uncertain to speak aloud. You've carried thoughts you believe were too messy to bring into prayer, questions about your purpose, about your worth, about your future, about your fears, about your past. You've wondered whether it's safe to question me, whether it's wrong to feel confused, whether I will be disappointed if you admit how lost you sometimes feel. But listen to me. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not wounded by your doubt. I am not startled by your confusion. I am not offended by your honesty. I know every thought before it forms, every fear before it surfaces, every hesitation before it is named, and I welcome them all. You have questions that sit deep in your chest, heavy and unspoken. Why did things unfold this way? Why didn't that work out? Why did that person leave? Why do I still struggle with this? Am I on the right path? Am I enough? You wonder if asking these things shows a lack of faith. But real faith is not silent. Real faith brings its confusion to me. Real faith seeks clarity instead of pretending to have it. Real faith wrestles honestly. And I would rather have your honest wrestling than your polished pretending. There are answers you're afraid to hear because you think they will confirm your deepest fears. But my answers never lead to condemnation. They lead to peace. They lead to perspective. They lead to healing. Even the answers you don't understand at first are saturated with purpose and love. I do not withhold truth to punish you. I reveal truth to free you. And hear me. Some of your questions don't have answers yet because the answer would overwhelm you in your current season. Some answers require growth. Some require healing. Some require distance from the past. Some require the unfolding of time. But none of your questions are ignored. None are dismissed. None are denied. I hold every one of them tenderly, and in my perfect timing, I will give you understanding that settles your spirit instead of stirring your fear. So ask me. Ask boldly. Ask honestly. Ask without trying to filter your emotions. You are safe with me, safe to wonder, safe to doubt, safe to cry, safe to speak freely. I know the questions you're afraid to ask, and I already love you through every one of them. Listen to me with your whole heart. I have been waiting, not for your perfection, not for your strength, but for your surrender. You think surrender means giving up, losing control, or admitting defeat. But surrender in my presence is not a collapse. It is a release. You have been carrying so much on your own shoulders, ripping your plans, your fears, your timelines, and your expectations with a tightness that has exhausted your spirit. You've tried to fix things through sheer willpower, tried to force clarity through overthinking, tried to hold everything together through emotional strain, but none of that was ever meant to be your job. I never asked you to carry the weight of the world. I asked you to walk with me. Yet somewhere along the way, life taught you to rely on yourself more than on me, to trust your strength more than my wisdom, to fight your way forward instead of resting in my guidance. And now you're tired, not because you are weak, but because you have been doing alone what you were meant to do with me. I see how hard it is for you to release control. I know the fears behind it, the fear of being disappointed again, the fear of repeating past mistakes, the fear of being let down, the fear of stepping into the unknown without a guarantee. You survived seasons where surrender felt dangerous, where trusting anyone felt risky. I understand why you built walls. I understand why you hold tightly. I understand why surrender feels like a loss of protection. But surrender with me is not exposure. It is refuge. It is the moment you stop fighting battles that I have already planned to win for you. It is the moment you stop carrying burdens I never assigned to you. It is the moment where exhaustion melts into peace, because you finally realize you don't have to figure everything out. I'm not asking you for total surrender in one leap. I am asking you to begin with one simple step. Loosen your grip. Let me take what is weighing you down. Let me hold the places where you feel unsteady. Let me guide the areas where you feel confused. You don't have to fix yourself before you surrender. Your surrender is what brings the fixing. You don't have to understand everything. I am the one who understands. You don't have to have a plan. I am the one who sees the whole path. Surrender is where transformation begins. Surrender is where clarity returns. Surrender is where peace rises. Surrender is where strength becomes real. I have been waiting for you, not with impatience, but with a deep, tender knowing that your heart is ready for the release it has been craving for far too long. Surrender, not as defeat but as freedom. Surrender, not as weakness but as alignment. Surrender, not as loss but as the doorway into the life I've been preparing for you. Hear this with the power it deserves. Your past, every mistake, every wound, every regret, will no longer control your tomorrow. You have carried your past like a shadow that won't let go, believing that what happened then has the authority to define who you are now. You've replayed moments you wish you could change, held on to guilt you should have released, and allowed old versions of yourself to dictate what you believe you're capable of becoming. You've let old pain shape your expectations, let old betrayals shape your trust, let old failures shape your confidence. But you need to understand something. Your past has no right to hold the pen that writes your future. I am the one who holds your story, and I am not finished writing. I have seen the places where you've struggled to forgive yourself, the memories that sneak up on you when you're trying to move forward, the fear that your past mistakes disqualified you from the life you desire. But what you call disqualified, I call redeemable. What you call broken beyond repair, I call the place where I begin my healing. Your past was never stronger than my grace. Your mistakes were never stronger than my mercy. Your failures were never stronger than my plan. I do not consult your past to determine your future. I consult my purpose for you, and my purpose has always been stronger than your pain. I want you to stop letting yesterday dictate who you are allowed to be today. I want you to stop assuming that because something happened before, it will define what comes next. I want you to stop carrying the weight of shame that I already remove. Your past was a chapter, not a life sentence. It shaped you, yes, but it did not cement you. It taught you, yes, but it did not imprison you. And now, I am leading you into a future that is not a continuation of your old wounds, but a rebirth into your true identity. You are not who you were. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the version of yourself that survived dark seasons. You are being renewed, strengthened, transformed. And I will continue to walk you into a tomorrow that reflects healing instead of hurt, hope instead of fear, purpose instead of regret. Release the past. Release the guilt. Release the shame. The future I have for you requires open hands, not clenched fists holding old memories. Your past will no longer control your tomorrow, because I am rewriting your story from here. Listen carefully, because this truth will dismantle chains inside you. You are not defined by your mistakes, not the ones others remember, not the ones you replay, not the ones you think disqualify you. You have judged yourself harshly for moments of weakness, for decisions you regret, for seasons where you did know better, couldn't do better, or simply fell short of who you wanted to be. And somewhere along the way, you began to believe that those mistakes permanently marked you, that they somehow altered your worth, your identity, or your ability to be used for something meaningful. But my child, mistakes may shape your journey, but they do not define your name, your calling, or your purpose. I saw every wrong turn, every misstep, every moment when you acted out of fear instead of faith, pain instead of peace, confusion instead of clarity. And do you know what I did? I covered them. I redeemed them. I wove them into a story that still leads toward hope. I didn't walk away. I didn't withdraw my love. I didn't change my mind about you. You think that your mistakes make you unworthy, but I see them as places where my mercy became real in your life. You think they disqualify you, but I see them as moments that forged humility, compassion, and spiritual depth within you. Your failures do not define you. My forgiveness does. You don't need to keep punishing yourself. You don't need to carry shame for sins I no longer remember. You don't need to keep identifying yourself by your lowest moments. I define you, your Creator, your Redeemer, your Father. And I define you by my love, not your lapses, by my purpose, not your past, by my truth, not your fears. You are more than what went wrong. You are more than the mistakes that haunt you. You are more than the moments you wish you could erase. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming. Stop treating your mistakes like permanent marks. They were moments, not identities. They were lessons, not labels. And I am using every one of them to shape you into someone stronger, wiser, deeper, more compassionate, and more aligned with who you were created to be. Let go of the shame. Let go of the self-judgment. Let go of the belief that you are permanently stained. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by my love, and that definition will never change. Before you learned to whisper my name, before you knew how to ask for mercy, before you understood what forgiveness even meant, I had already forgiven you. You carry this idea that forgiveness is something you must earn, something you must work toward, something I weigh and measure based on the sincerity of your words or the depth of your regret. But my forgiveness is not transactional, it's foundational. It flowed toward you long before you were aware of your need for it. Before you ever formed a prayer, I saw your entire story, your weaknesses, your wounds, your failures, your moments of confusion, the paths you would take out of fear or pain, and I chose mercy. I did not wait for you to get your life together. I did not wait for you to understand the fullness of my love. I did not wait for you to become the version of yourself you thought I would accept. My forgiveness met you in the mess, in the brokenness, in the immaturity, in the places where you didn't even know right from wrong. I forgave you before your first apology and long before your first mistake. You think forgiveness must be difficult for me because it is difficult for you. You think I replay your failures the way you replay them in your mind. But I do not cling to the things you regret. I do not hold your past against you. I do not bring up what I have already erased. Your guilt lingers not because I am holding on to it, but because you are. You let shame convince you that forgiveness must be complicated. You let regret whisper that you're still defined by what you did. But forgiveness is not a hoop you must jump through. It is a gift I freely give. One that existed long before you did anything wrong, and one that cannot be undone by anything you've done. I want you to live in the freedom of knowing that you are forgiven. Not partly, not conditionally, not reluctantly. Fully forgiven. Completely covered. Eternally released from the weight of what you once carried. Stop imagining that I view you through the lens of your failures. I view you through the lens of my love. Stop assuming that you must earn back my approval. You never lost it. Stop believing that your mistakes have placed a permanent stain on your identity. My forgiveness has washed you clean. You were forgiven before the apology, before the understanding, before the awareness. Forgiveness was waiting for you at every moment you thought you had fallen too far. So walk in the freedom that has always been yours. Let go of the guilt that no longer belongs to you. Step out of the shadow of what you think you've ruined. I forgave you before you ever knew how to reach for me, because my love was already reaching for you. Let me speak into the deepest part of you, the things that have haunted your heart, your mind, and your memories. I am releasing you from them now. You've lived with a heaviness that others cannot see. You've carried memories that return at the worst moments. You've battled thoughts that drain your energy, wounds that reopen without warning, emotions that rise like ghosts from old seasons. These things have followed you, whispered to you, and tried to define you. And even though you've moved forward in many ways, parts of you have felt stuck, frozen in old pain, trapped in old patterns, tied to moments you wish you could erase. But listen closely. I am breaking those ties. I am freeing you from the shadows that cling to you. I am cutting the chains that have wrapped around your spirit for far too long. You have blamed yourself for not being able to shake certain thoughts or feelings. You've wondered why healing has taken so long, why certain fears return, why old emotions resurface even when you've grown. But trauma does not release easily. Pain does not depart on command. Memories do not dissolve simply because you want them to. But I am stepping into those inner places, the places you don't talk about, the places too tender to expose, the places too hidden to articulate, and I am removing what has been gripping you. I am silencing the voice of your past. I am dissolving the echoes of condemnation. I am untangling the anxiety that has wrapped itself around your mind. I am healing. I am restoring. I am releasing. This release may feel subtle at first. It may feel like a breath you haven't taken in years. It may feel like a moment of peace that surprises you. It may feel like clarity breaking through the fog. Or it may feel like a slow loosening, a gentle lifting, a quiet comfort settling into the places that hurt. But the release is happening. I am reaching into the depths of what wounded you and reclaiming the space those wounds once occupied. What haunted you will no longer hold authority over you. What tormented your thoughts will no longer shape your identity. What once tied you to pain is losing its grip because my hand is stronger than anything that ever tried to bind you. You are stepping into a new level of freedom, not the kind you force, but the kind I give. A freedom that brings rest to your mind, calm to your emotions, strength to your heart, and light to your path. The haunting ends here. The burden breaks here. The release begins now. Listen to me. You have never, not for one moment, walked through any struggle alone, not even the struggles you hid from everyone else. You've spent so much of your life fighting silent battles, carrying emotions you were afraid to express, trying to be strong because you believed you had to be. You've held tears behind your eyes, held fears behind your strength, held questions behind your smile. You've convinced yourself that no one could ever fully understand the depth of what you were facing. And because of that, you slipped into the belief that you had to handle everything yourself. But I was there in every moment. You were never navigating anything without me. I saw the nights when sleep wouldn't come. I saw the days when you pushed through exhaustion. I saw the moments when your heart felt heavy, but you kept going anyway. I saw the fears you swallowed because you didn't want to burden anyone. I saw the loneliness you tried to ignore. And while you were wondering if anyone could see your pain, I was sitting beside you, closer than breath, present in every tear that never fell, every worry you never voiced, every silent plea your spirit whispered. You have never walked alone. I know there were moments when you felt abandoned, not by people, but by life itself. Moments when the weight felt too heavy. Moments when hope felt too distant. Moments when you looked at everything you were facing and thought, I don't know how much more I can carry. Yet even in your lowest moments, my presence wrapped around you. You weren't aware of it because survival requires focus, and sometimes you were too overwhelmed to sense me. But I never left. I never stepped away. I never distanced myself from your pain. I was in the struggle with you, holding your heart even when you felt it breaking. You need to understand this deeply. I am not the God who watches from a distance. I am the God who steps into the fire with you. I am the God who sits in the quiet with you. I am the God who listens to the thoughts you can't say aloud. I am the God who understands the tears that never fall. I am the God who strengthens you when you think you can't take another step. You have never been alone. Not in heartbreak, not in confusion, not in fear, not in weariness. And now, as you continue forward, I want you to walk with the unshakable truth that my presence surrounds you in every season. I am with you when the path is unclear. I am with you when the battle is heavy. I am with you when the days are long. You do not struggle alone. Not yesterday, not today, not ever. I am here. I have always been here. And I am walking you through every single moment. Before you believe the lie that no one sees you, hear me. You have never been overlooked, not for a moment, not for a breath, not in any season. I have been watching you more closely than you realize. You've walked through stretches of life where it seemed like your efforts went unnoticed, your sacrifices unappreciated, your kindness unreturned. You've poured yourself into relationships, responsibilities, callings, and commitments, and still felt unseen in the places where you longed most to be recognized. And though you tried to shrug it off, to pretend it didn't bother you, something deep inside you whispered, "Does anyone even notice me? Does any of this matter?" But I noticed. I saw the tears you didn't cry because you didn't want sympathy. I watched the moments you chose integrity even when no one was around to applaud you. I saw you stay faithful in seasons where discouragement tried to convince you to walk away. Every moment you thought was invisible, I was paying attention. You have misinterpreted silence as insignificance. You believed that because people did affirm you, your efforts weren't meaningful. But I want you to know this. My eyes have been on you in every moment of your journey. When you felt like your voice didn't matter, I was listening. When you felt like your work wasn't enough, I was taking note. When you felt like others were chosen over you, I was preparing something uniquely designed for your path. You were not overlooked. You were being set apart. There are things I've been building in you that could only be developed in hidden seasons. There is character being formed, resilience being shaped, depth being carved in the quiet places where no spotlight shines. And while others looked in different directions, I looked at you with intention, affection, and purpose. You are seen. You are known. You are valued. I've watched every step you've taken, every battle you fought, every prayer you whispered at night when you felt most alone. Nothing about you escapes my sight, and nothing you've done in love, faith, or obedience has gone unnoticed. So lift your head. Do not measure your worth by human attention. Do not evaluate your purpose by earthly acknowledgement. My eyes are on you, and my plans for you are unfolding even now. You are not overlooked. You are divinely observed, deeply cherished, and profoundly known. Listen carefully, because you rarely let yourself believe this. I am proud of you. You go through life analyzing your shortcomings, replaying your weaknesses, comparing your journey to others, and highlighting your failures more than your victories. You hold yourself to impossible standards and then punish yourself when you don't meet them. You assume that because you still struggle, still question, still fall into old patterns at times, there is nothing in you worth celebrating. But I look at you and see strength where you see weakness. I see courage where you see hesitation. I see growth where you see imperfection. I see perseverance where you see exhaustion. Do you realize how much you've overcome? How many storms you've weathered? How many moments you pushed through when quitting would have been easier? How many days you chose kindness when you were hurting, chose faith when you felt empty, chose forgiveness when bitterness tried to take hold? You don't see what I see. You focus on the places where you fall short, but I see the grace in the way you rise. You judge yourself for struggling, but I honor you for continuing. You criticize your heart for not healing faster, but I cherish your willingness to try again, to love again, to hope again. I am proud of every small step you've taken toward healing, proud of the way you've carried yourself through disappointment with humility, proud of the way you've allowed growth to shape you, even when it hurt, proud of the way you have endured seasons of silence and still held on to me. You've been harder on yourself than I ever have been. You think I only celebrate your triumphs, but I celebrate your attempts. I celebrate your honesty. I celebrate your endurance. I celebrate your faith, even when it trembles. You are doing better than you think. And hear me. My pride in you is not based on your performance. It flows from my love. You don't earn it. You don't achieve it. You simply live, struggle, learn, and grow, and I watch with a father's joy. I am proud of who you are, who you've been, and who you are becoming. So rest in this truth. I delight in you far more than you realize. Let me tell you something you've dismissed far too often. I have seen every quiet, unseen act of faithfulness you've offered when no one else was paying attention. You have loved people without getting love in return. You have shown kindness without recognition. You have forgiven when you could have held a grudge. You have stayed loyal when others walked away. You have done what was right even when it cost you, even when no one knew, even when appreciation never came. You have prayed in secret. You have given in secret. You have served in secret. You have chosen me in moments when choosing comfort, anger, or bitterness would have been easier. And while the world didn't applaud you for it, I did. You assume your faithfulness is small because it wasn't broadcast, shared, or seen. But some of the greatest moments of spiritual significance happen in the quiet spaces where only you and I know what truly occurred. I saw the moment you held your tongue instead of defending yourself. I saw the moment you comforted someone even while hurting. I saw the moment you showed patience when frustration was rising. I saw the moment you didn't retaliate. I saw the moment you prayed even when you didn't feel me. I saw the moment you kept believing when your circumstances told you to give up. Nothing escapes my notice. Not the big victories, not the small obediences, not the silent sacrifices. And these quiet acts are not forgotten. They have been planting seeds in your future, seeds of blessing, seeds of favor, seeds of breakthrough. Your faithfulness is shaping your destiny even when it feels unnoticed. I use every small act of love, every moment of restraint, every gesture of compassion, every whispered prayer. I am weaving them into a harvest that will return to you in ways far greater than the cost you paid to give them. So don't underestimate the power of your quiet obedience. Don't assume your goodness has gone unseen. Don't believe that your efforts disappeared into the air. I have seen them all, and I am pleased with you. Your secret faithfulness is building something profound, and soon you will see the fruit of what you planted in silence. Before you convince yourself that nothing is coming from your effort, listen. Every sacrifice you've made, every hard choice, every quiet yes, every painful letting go, is about to bear fruit. You've poured so much of yourself into seasons where the return seemed invisible. You've chosen integrity when shortcuts looked tempting. You've loved people who didn't always value your heart. You've stayed obedient in moments when rebellion would have felt easier. You've given when you were barely holding yourself together. You've stayed faithful when it looked like nothing was changing. And you've wondered, silently and honestly, does any of this matter? Will anything good come from all I've given? You need to know this. I have kept record of every sacrifice. Nothing you've done in love, in faith, in obedience, or in quiet surrender had been wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one moment of choosing what was right over what was comfortable. There were times when you sowed seeds with trembling hands, unsure if anything would ever grow. There were moments when you gave kindness even when your own heart felt empty. There were decisions you made out of conviction that cost you relationships, opportunities, or comfort, but they preserved your soul. These sacrifices planted deeper things in the ground of your life than you realized: strength, character, wisdom, discernment, compassion, spiritual authority. While you saw loss, I saw planting. While you saw emptiness, I saw foundation. While you saw delayed reward, I saw roots growing stronger beneath the surface. The season you're approaching is not random. It is the season where buried seeds begin to break open. What once felt dormant will begin to bloom with purpose. Doors that once refused to open will respond to your persistence. People who once overlooked you will see what I've been building inside you. Opportunities that were hidden will begin to reveal themselves. And more importantly, you will begin to experience internal fruit, peace where there was anxiety, clarity where there was confusion, courage where there was insecurity, healing where there was pain. Do not give up right before the harvest. Do not misinterpret slowness as stagnation. Fruit grows quietly before it grows visibly. You have labored faithfully, and your labor has never been forgotten. Not by me, not by heaven, not by the destiny that has been waiting for its fullness. You are coming into a season where what you planted in tears, you will reap in joy. Your sacrifices have been costly, but what's coming will be worth every single one. Lean closer now, because you need this hope. I am restoring things in your life that you thought were gone forever. There are dreams you buried because disappointment hardened the soil around them. There are parts of your heart you closed because too much pain entered through the same door. There are desires you silenced because they felt unrealistic or too fragile to hope for again. There are relationships, opportunities, versions of yourself, and seasons of joy you believed were permanently lost. You stopped reaching for them because reaching began to feel like reopening old wounds. But hear me. I am the God who revives what looks dead, who renews what looks wasted, who rebuilds what looks shattered. What you considered over, I consider unfinished. What you labeled ruined, I label restorable. You thought time had taken certain things from you, but time is not stronger than my hand. You thought heartbreak closed doors forever, but heartbreak is not louder than my voice. You thought mistakes disqualified you, but mistakes do not limit my ability to redeem. I am bringing life back to things you released too soon, not because you lacked faith, but because the pain of holding on became too heavy. I saw every moment you let go, not out of unbelief, but out of exhaustion, and I never judged you for it. Now, I am stepping into the empty spaces of your heart and filling them with a new beginning. The restoration I am bringing won't look exactly like what you lost. It will look better, wiser, stronger, purer. I'm not giving you replicas of what slipped through your fingers. I'm giving you redeemed versions, things built with divine timing, deeper stability, and emotional maturity. Things aligned with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Restoration is not simply returning what was taken. It is transforming what was broken into something that carries more beauty than before. You will see opportunities return in unexpected ways. You will see your spark reignite in places where you once felt numb. You will experience joy in areas where you had accepted numbness as your new normal. Do not settle for the narrative that loss has the final word. Do not accept the lie that certain parts of your story are unsalvageable. Nothing is beyond my reach, not your heart, not your dreams, not your relationships, not your future. I am restoring what you thought was gone forever, and when you see it, you will understand why the wait was necessary. You will understand why the old version had to die for something stronger to grow. You will understand that I was never taking, I was preparing. And now the restoration begins. Before you hide your pain again, let me tell you something powerful. I am healing the things inside you that you don't even talk about. You have wounds you've never spoken aloud, wounds so deep you tuck them into shadows, hoping they would fade with time. But silence does not heal trauma. Suppression does not mend a broken heart. Avoidance does not erase memory. And though you have moved on with life, parts of you remain stuck in moments you don't revisit, emotions you don't name, fears you don't voice. You've convinced yourself that if you don't talk about these things, they can't hurt you anymore. But I see the way those hidden wounds still influence your decisions, your relationships, your confidence, your reactions, your sense of worth. There are nights when the weight of those unspoken things presses gently against your chest. There are days when a random moment stirs old emotions you thought were long gone. There are conversations that trigger feelings you never process. There are fears that rise out of nowhere, fears tied to memories you refuse to face. And though you've shielded these places from people, you have never hidden them from me. I have always seen the wound beneath the behavior, the memory beneath the reaction, the ache beneath the silence. I am not asking you to expose your heart to the world. I am asking you to allow me to touch the places you've kept guarded. Healing is not about reliving the pain. It is about releasing its hold. And I am doing that healing gently, layer by layer, moment by moment. Sometimes healing feels like unexpected tears. Sometimes it feels like sudden relief. Sometimes it feels like clarity after years of confusion. Sometimes it feels like forgiveness you didn't think was possible. Sometimes it feels like courage returning to places where fear once lived. And sometimes it feels like peace settling where unrest used to reign. I will not rush your healing. I will not force you to confront what you are not ready to face. I will guide you gradually, tenderly, consistently. And every step you take, even the smallest one, is progress. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too damaged to be restored. You are not too complicated to be understood. I know the pain you don't talk about, and I am healing it from the inside out. You will look back one day and realize how much has changed. Not because you forced yourself to be strong, but because I healed you in places no one else knew existed. Listen to me now, because this will steady you. I am strengthening you from within in ways you cannot yet feel, but you will soon see. You've been looking for signs of strength in your circumstances, hoping life would get easier, hoping challenges would lessen, hoping external pressure would lift. But the strength I'm giving you is not being built outside of you. It's being built inside you. And internal strength grows in silence, beneath the surface, often unnoticed until the moment it's needed. I've been working on the unseen layers of your spirit, your resilience, your patience, your clarity, your emotional stamina, your courage, your identity, fortifying you with a strength that does not depend on circumstances but grows deeper as you lean into me. You think you're getting weaker because life feels heavy, but you are actually being strengthened because you have not collapsed under the weight. You survived days that tried to break you. You've endured seasons that drained you. You've walked through storms that others never heard about. You've carried responsibilities that would overwhelm most people. And yet, you are still here. Not because of your own force, but because my strength has been working quietly, invisibly, faithfully inside you. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet choice to keep going. Sometimes it's the subtle shift in how you respond to old triggers. Sometimes it's the deeper understanding you gain after difficult moments. Sometimes it's the peace that rises for no logical reason. Sometimes it's simply the refusal to quit, even when quitting seems easier. You may feel tired, but tiredness does not mean weakness. It means you've been growing. You may feel stretched, but stretching does not mean breaking. It means expanding. You may feel uncertain, but uncertainty does not mean fragility. It means you're stepping into new territory where new strength is required. I am strengthening the parts of you that were once fragile. I am fortifying the places where fear used to dwell. I am reinforcing the foundation of who you are becoming so that your identity is no longer shaken by external storms. Soon, you will notice the change. You'll notice you respond differently to pressure. You'll notice your heart doesn't panic as quickly. You'll notice your mind doesn't spiral as easily. You'll notice your emotions are steadier. You'll notice you're more confident in decisions. You'll notice you can say no to what once drained you. you'll notice you can step into things you once feared. That is not accidental. That is me strengthening you from within. Do not underestimate the work I am doing in your unseen places. Do not assume the quiet is empty. Growth happens in the dark before it blossoms in the light. I am making you stronger than you've ever been, not by changing everything around you, but by transforming everything within you. Hear this clearly. You've been asking me for a sign, searching for something unmistakable, and this moment, these words, this very encounter is your sign. You've whispered it in your heart even when you didn't voice it aloud. God, just show me. Just give me something. Just let me know you're still with me. You've been longing for confirmation. Confirmation that you're not making a mistake. Confirmation that you're on the right path. Confirmation that what you're hoping for is not in vain. You've prayed for clarity, and then questioned if the silence meant no. You've looked for signs in conversations, in timing, in circumstances, in numbers, in moments that felt coincidental. But hear me. When you ask me for a sign, I do not ignore you. I respond in ways that speak deeper than symbols. This message reaching you right now is not accidental. You didn't stumble here by chance. Your spirit had been searching, reaching, stretching for assurance. You've been carrying questions that felt too heavy to keep holding alone. You've been hoping for direction while trying to silence the fears that whisper against your faith. And I have stepped into this exact moment to meet you where you are. Not with fireworks, not with dramatic manifestations, but with a whisper that pierces deeper than thunder. I hear you. I see you. I am guiding you. The sign you're looking for is not something outside of you. It is something happening inside you. It's the way your heart responds right now. It's the way peace flickers even as fear tries to linger. It's the way these words reach the exact parts of you that needed them. It's the way your spirit feels recognized, understood, embraced. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. I am not a God of confusion. I am not the author of chaos. When you ask, I answer, sometimes through silence that strengthens you, sometimes through timing that protects you, sometimes through circumstances that redirect you, and sometimes through words like these that touch what human language shouldn't be able to touch. Do not dismiss this moment. Do not call it just another message. It is me speaking through what is available to reach you in a way your spirit can receive. You asked for a sign. Here it is. I am with you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. And the path you are on is not random. It is guided by my hand. Pay attention now, because you need this hope. I am preparing opportunities for you that are larger, deeper, and more meaningful than anything you've dared to imagine. You've been praying for progress, for an open door, for a clear direction, but you've underestimated what I am capable of doing in your life. You've been limiting your expectations to what seems realistic, manageable, achievable in your own strength. But I am not bound by your limitations. I am not restricted by your past. I am not hindered by the circumstances you see as obstacles. I am preparing opportunities that exceed your qualifications, stretch your capacities, and align perfectly with the deepest desires of your spirit. Desires you've been afraid to admit. Sometimes, you believe too small because disappointment has trained your heart not to hope too boldly. You've learned to settle to avoid heartbreak. You've learned to shrink your prayers to avoid feeling foolish. You've learned to adjust your expectations to avoid repeated pain. But I am calling you into something greater. Greater than your planning. Greater than your fear. Greater than your history. I am placing you on paths where divine timing meets divine purpose. Doors are being crafted specifically for you. Doors that no person, no mistake, no delay, and no enemy can shut. You won't have to force these opportunities. You won't have to beg for them. You won't have to compromise your values to fit into them. They will come with peace, clarity, alignment, and a sense of destiny that resonates in your spirit. These opportunities are not random. They are woven into the blueprint I designed for your life long before you recognized your own potential. They are connected to your purpose, your calling, your growth, your healing, and your future impact. So prepare your heart. Prepare your mindset. Prepare your faith. What I am bringing will require you to step out of comfort zones, to trust me on levels you haven't before, to embrace your identity with confidence rather than insecurity. But you will be ready, because I am preparing you at the same time I am preparing the opportunity. You have not missed your chance. You have not fallen behind. You have not disqualified yourself. What's coming is more than you asked for, because my plans for you have always been greater than what you dared to hope. Opportunities are forming even now, quietly, beautifully, perfectly, and they will arrive at the exact moment your spirit is ready to walk through them. Before you worry about who left, who drifted, or who disappointed you, hear this. I am aligning the right people with your path, and they will carry a weight of purpose your past connections never could. You spent so much emotional energy trying to understand why certain people faded, why relationships shifted, why loyalty wasn't returned, why connections you thought were permanent suddenly unraveled. You blamed yourself. You questioned your worth. You wondered whether you were too much or not enough, or somehow difficult to love. But the truth is this. I removed misaligned people not to leave you empty, but to make space for the ones who will walk with you into the future I've prepared. Some people were part of your story, but not part of your destiny. Some were companions for a chapter, not the journey. Some were teachers to your heart, not keepers of it. I have heard every prayer where you asked me to bring the right people into your life. People who value you, understand you, support you, see you. People who reflect my love rather than drain your spirit. Those prayers did not fall to the ground. I am answering them in my timing, not yours. You will not walk the next season alone. I am sending people equipped with compassion, emotional maturity, spiritual depth, integrity, and genuine love. People who won't compete with you but compliment you. People who won't question your worth but affirm it. People who won't vanish when things get hard but will stand beside you because they recognize the calling on your life. And hear me, the alignment won't require you to chase, beg, convince, shrink, or compromise. Divinely aligned relationships come with clarity, comfort, and peace, not confusion, anxiety, or constant self-doubt. These connections are being prepared even now, shaped through circumstances you can't see yet. Some will come subtly. Others will form slowly. But each person I send will carry purpose, not chaos. They will walk with you, not away from you. They will honor your heart, not handle it carelessly. As I align them to you, I am also aligning you to them, maturing your spirit, sharpening your discernment, healing what once attracted the wrong people, strengthening the boundaries that protect your peace. Let go of who left. Bless what was. Release what drained you. The right people are on their way. People whose presence will feel like answered prayer. Hear me with a softness toward yourself. I am rebuilding your confidence, not the false confidence you once wore like armor, but the deep, steady confidence that grows from knowing who you are in me. Somewhere along the journey, life chipped away at your self-belief. Pain spoke loudly. Rejection left marks. Failure whispered lies. Comparison clouded your vision. You started questioning your value, your abilities, your uniqueness, your voice. You shrank in rooms where you once stood boldly. You doubted ideas that were once clear. You silenced parts of yourself to avoid judgment or misunderstanding. And slowly, almost without noticing, you began to live smaller than you were created to be. But I have never forgotten who you are. I have never lost sight of the strength I placed within you, the brilliance of your mind, the tenderness of your heart, the depth of your purpose. I am restoring the confidence life attempted to steal. Not through ego, not through pride, not through chasing validation, but through truth, through identity, through healing, through the steady reminder that you were made intentionally, designed with precision, shaped with purpose. Confidence does not come from perfection. It comes from understanding you are loved, chosen, equipped, and guided. You will begin to feel the shift. You will speak up in places where fear once silenced you. You will dream again where disappointment once muted you. You'll walk boldly into opportunities that once intimidated you. You'll trust your instincts without second guessing. You'll look in the mirror and see someone capable, not someone lacking. You'll release the need for others to approve what I've already affirmed. And slowly, the confidence you thought was lost will return. Not forced, not performed, but reborn. Your confidence is not being repaired. It's being rebuilt from a stronger foundation than before. A foundation rooted in me. And because it's rooted in me, it cannot be shaken by insecurity, rejection, comparison, or past wounds. You are rising again, not into arrogance, but into alignment with who you truly are. Before you take another step weighed down by worry, listen to this. I am removing fear from your future because fear has shaped your expectations long enough. You've lived for too long with the quiet dread that something might go wrong, that the next chapter might hold disappointment, that hope might betray you again. Fear has been whispering in the background of your decisions, shaping your caution, influencing your prayers, and creating a lens through which you view both possibility and risk. You've been walking forward, but always looking over your shoulder. You've been planning your life, but always preparing for heartbreak. You've been dreaming, but with hesitation. But fear is not your guide. I am. And fear has no place in the future I'm leading you into. You fear repeating old patterns. You fear losing what you gain. You fear trusting the wrong people. You fear stepping out and failing. You fear hoping for too much. But I am breaking those fears off of you, not by removing every risk, but by removing the power fear once had over your heart. I am filling your spirit with courage, peace, and clarity. I am teaching you to move with faith instead of anxiety, expectation instead of dread, confidence instead of caution. Your future is not defined by what hurt you. It is not shaped by what failed before. It is not a repetition of your past stories. It is a new chapter, written with a different ink. You will begin to feel fear loosen its grip. Decisions will come easier. Risks will feel less intimidating. Hope will flow more naturally. You will feel excitement where you once felt dread. You will notice yourself opening to possibilities without immediately imagining the worst. This is not delusion. This is freedom. This is me restoring your ability to look forward with joy instead of fear. The unknown will no longer terrify you because you will recognize that I am already waiting in your tomorrow. You do not walk into the future alone, unprotected, or unprepared. I go before you. I surround you. I strengthen you. And because of that, fear cannot travel with you any longer. You are stepping into a future where courage leads, peace guards, and my presence lights the way. Fear may have shaped your past, but it will not shape your future, not anymore. Hear me, with the authority your heart has been longing for. You will not repeat the pain of your past. What happened before will not happen again. You've been walking carefully, almost too carefully, because you are afraid the next chapter might mirror the wounds of previous seasons. Your mind replays old heartbreaks, old disappointments, old failures, old betrayals, old moments where life broke open in ways you never saw coming. And even when you hope for better, something deep in you whispers, what if it ends the same way? That fear has tried to convince you that your past is a prophecy of your future, that patterns will repeat, that history will simply echo itself, that you are destined to relive what once hurt you. But I am here to break that lie, and I speak this over your life with certainty. The cycle ends with you. You are not walking into a repeat. You are walking into a redemption. The things that once wounded you have lost their authority. The people who broke you are not the ones who will meet you in the new places I'm leading you. The environments that shaped your pain are not the ones that will shape your future. You are not stepping into an echo of yesterday. You are stepping into something entirely new, something I have shielded, strengthened, and secured for you. I have healed the weaknesses that opened the door to past hurt. I have grown the wisdom that will guide you differently now. I have removed the people and circumstances that once caused your heart to ache. You are not the same person, and therefore, your story cannot repeat in the same way. The triggers that once defined you are losing their power. The fears that once controlled you are being uprooted. The wounds that once influenced your choices are being healed from the inside out. I am leading you into a season where what broke you before will no longer have access to you. The future I'm shaping for you is protected, intentional, and deeply aligned with the healing I have been doing in your heart. Do not fear stepping forward. This time will not hurt you the way last time did. Walk in confidence, my child, because your past is not your future, and pain is not your destiny. What awaits you will bring restoration, not repetition. Breathe with me for a moment, because I am breathing fresh peace into your spirit. Peace that settles where chaos once lived. Peace that reaches the places you've struggled to quiet. You've been carrying tension in your body, heaviness in your chest, uneasiness in your thoughts. Even when things look calm externally, something inside you has felt restless, unsettled, and overstimulated. You've tried to distract yourself, tried to stay busy, tried to control your thoughts, but nothing has fully calmed the inner swirl that moves beneath the surface. You've wondered why peace has been so difficult to hold on to, why anxiety rises at unexpected moments, why your mind moves faster than your heart can process. But I want you to understand this. Peace is not something you must create or chase. It is something I give, and I am giving it to you now. My peace is not a brief sensation. It's not a temporary pause in the storm. My peace becomes a dwelling inside of you, a resting place where fear cannot survive, where tension dissolves, where your spirit settles into the rhythm of my presence. I am calming the noise inside you. I am quieting the thoughts that run too fast. I am loosening the emotional knots that tighten whenever life feels overwhelming. This peace does not depend on circumstances aligning. It flows even when life is imperfect. It holds you steady even when uncertainty rises. It wraps around you like a warm, protective blanket when the world feels cold and unpredictable. You will feel this peace in subtle ways, your breath softening, your heart rate easing, your thoughts becoming clearer, your emotions stabilizing. You will notice moments where panic once would have surged, but instead, calm rises. Moments where worry once dominated, but now grace steps in. Moments where fear once predicted disaster, but now your spirit whispers, I am safe. This is not self-help. It is divine help. You are not calming yourself, I am calming you. Let my peace saturate your days and your nights. Let it guard your heart against anxiety. Let it lift the heaviness off your shoulders. Let it silence the inner storms. I am breathing peace into you, not occasionally, but continually. You will walk differently, think differently, and feel differently because my peace will be the anchor of your spirit. Listen closely, because I am doing something powerful right now. I am breaking the spirit of discouragement off of you. You've been carrying discouragement like a quiet weight, one that creeps in subtly, through disappointment, through delays, through unanswered questions, through the slow progress of dreams that feel stuck. Discouragement doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, draining your energy, dimming your hope, making your victories feel small and your efforts feel futile. It tells you that nothing is changing, that your prayers aren't working, that you're not growing, that you're falling behind. And even though you've tried to stay positive, even though you've spoken faith aloud, discouragement has still clung to your spirit like a shadow you can't quite shake. But I am breaking that off you, not with a temporary encouragement, not with a momentary emotional lift, but with a deep, spiritual intervention. Discouragement is not just a feeling. It is a heaviness that attaches itself to your expectations, a weight that bends your posture, a fog that clouds your vision. I am lifting that weight. I am clearing that fog. I am restoring your inner momentum. You will feel the shift, not because your circumstances instantly change, but because your hope will. I am rekindling the spark inside you. I am renewing the belief that good things are still coming. I am restoring the excitement you once had for your future. Discouragement has been stealing your energy, but I am giving it back. It has been stealing your clarity, but I am restoring it. It has been stealing your passion, but I am reigniting it. Where discouragement once convinced you to expect little, I am teaching you to expect abundance. Where it once told you to lower your hopes, I am teaching you to raise your vision. You will rise from this season with renewed faith, strengthened resilience, and a refreshed perspective. The heaviness that hovered over your spirit is breaking now, shattering, dissolving, losing its grip. You will no longer wake up with dread. You will no longer move through your days half-heartedly. You will no longer pray with fatigue in your soul. A fresh wind is coming to your heart. A fresh fire is coming to your spirit. Discouragement is breaking, and hope is taking its place. Before you take another step under that heaviness, listen to me. I am lifting the weight you've been carrying alone for far too long. You've been walking through this season with a pressure that sits on your chest, a quiet heaviness that lingers behind your thoughts, a sense of responsibility that feels larger than your strength. You wake up carrying it. You go to sleep carrying it. You pretend you're used to it, but your body aches from the burden, and your mind tires from holding everything together. You keep telling yourself, "I'll be fine," even while something inside you whispers, "I can't keep doing this." But I have not created you to carry life by yourself. I did not design you to hold everything in your hands. I did not ask you to be the hero of your own story. I am the one who carries, yet you've been trying to shoulder what belongs to me. I have seen the weight you've carried, the emotional load you don't talk about, the worries you try to manage, the outcomes you try to control, the people you try to support, the responsibilities you never set down. You've been strong for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like not to be overwhelmed. But hear me, your strength is not failing, it's simply tired. And tiredness is not weakness, it's a signal that you've reached the limit of what you were meant to carry on your own. I am stepping into that exhaustion now, placing my hand beneath the weight, lifting what has been pressing you to the ground. This lifting may not look dramatic. It may feel like a sudden release in your chest. It may feel like a clarity returning to your thoughts. It may feel like a moment where the anxiety that once gripped you simply loosens. It may feel like a renewed capacity to breathe, to trust, to hope. I am shifting burdens off your shoulders, taking emotional loads you were never meant to hold, relieving pressures that were slowly draining your joy. You don't have to understand the how. You only need to allow me to take what's been crushing you. Let me carry what overwhelms you. Let me step into what exhausts you. Let me handle what confuses you. Lifting is happening now, not because you're strong enough, but because I am present enough. Lean in closely, because this truth will transform you. I am opening your eyes to see yourself the way I see you. You've spent years looking at yourself through distorted lenses shaped by rejection, criticism, comparison, failure, and misunderstanding. You've believed lies about your worth because people treated you carelessly. You doubted your identity because life bruised you. You've questioned your value because your heart was mishandled. You've allowed the voice of insecurity to speak louder than my voice. And somewhere along the way, you accepted a version of yourself that is smaller, dimmer, and less radiant than who you truly are. But hear me now. The way you see yourself is not the way I see you, and I am about to change that. When I look at you, I don't see your flaws. I see your potential. I don't see your failures. I see your resilience. I don't see your insecurities. I see the strength that's been growing beneath them. I don't see someone trying to be enough. I see someone who already is. I don't see someone overlooked. I see someone appointed. I don't see someone average. I see someone anointed. And now, I am opening your eyes to align with my perspective. You will begin to recognize the beauty I placed within you, the depth, the compassion, the wisdom, the gentleness, the intelligence, the strength. You will begin to value your voice, your heart, your giftings, your presence. You will look at your reflection and see purpose instead of inadequacy. You will speak about yourself with grace instead of criticism. You will carry yourself with confidence instead of insecurity. This is not arrogance. This is alignment with truth. Seeing yourself through my eyes will change how you love, how you choose, how you dream, how you walk into rooms. The insecurities that once held you hostage will lose their grip. The doubts that once clouded your thoughts will fade. The shame that once shaped your posture will dissolve. I am restoring your vision, not of the world, not of others, but of yourself. And when you finally see what I've always seen, you will never shrink again. You are more than you believed. More capable, more precious, more powerful, more chosen. And now, I am opening your eyes to see it. Before you question why the season feels challenging, hear me. I am training you for the blessings you prayed for. You've been asking for more purpose, more strength, more clarity, more love, more opportunity, more provision. But what you didn't realize is that greater blessings require greater preparation. You cannot step into new levels with old patterns. You cannot carry new responsibilities with old mindsets. You cannot enter new rooms with old insecurities. So instead of giving you everything instantly, I have been developing you, stretching you, refining you, maturing you, so that when the blessing arrives, you will not only receive it but sustain it. This is why some seasons felt uncomfortable. This is why some relationships shifted. This is why certain doors closed. This is why you were pushed out of comfort zones you once clung to. This is why I allowed challenges that forced you to grow. You saw obstacles, I saw strengthening. You saw delays, I saw preparation. You saw loss, I saw clearing. I have been shaping your character, your endurance, your discernment, your emotional capacity, your spiritual maturity. The training hasn't been punishment. It's been intentional. Painful, yes, but purposeful. Every time you learned to let go, you grew. Every time you chose patience over panic, you matured. Every time you trusted me instead of your fear, you expanded. Every time you refused to give up, you strengthened foundations needed for your next season. You are not behind. You are in training. And you are closer to the blessing than you think. The blessings you prayed for are real, near, and on their way. But I won't let them overwhelm you. I won't let them break you. I won't let them slip through your fingers. So I am training you now, quietly, deeply, perfectly, so that when the blessing appears, you will step into it with confidence, wisdom, and peace. You are not being tested. You are being prepared. And the blessing you've been praying for will meet the person you are becoming. Before you shrink yourself again, listen. I am teaching you to walk in boldness, not the boldness of pride, but the boldness of purpose, identity, and divine assurance. You have spent far too long dimming your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable, downplaying your gifts so you wouldn't seem arrogant, silencing your voice because you feared being misunderstood. You have walked into rooms apologizing for your presence without speaking a word, carrying yourself small, cautious, careful, hesitant, worried about how you'll be perceived. And yet, deep inside, there has always been a pull, a gentle, holy pressure urging you to stand taller, speak louder, move with conviction, step forward with courage. That pull is me. I am calling you out of timidity, out of insecurity, out of the habit of hiding. I am shaping you into someone who doesn't just survive life, but steps into it with authority. Boldness is not about volume, it's about clarity. It's about knowing who you are and whose you are. I am strengthening your inner stance so you no longer negotiate your worth, question your calling, or underestimate your impact. You've been conditioned to be cautious, but I am training you to be courageous. You've let fear predict your steps for too long, but I am teaching you to move my faith, not intimidation. You've been waiting for permission, but I am giving you commission. The boldness I am forming in you isn't loud or reckless. It's steady, grounded, unshakable. It's the kind of boldness that lets you say no without guilt. The kind that helps you pursue opportunity without fear of failure. The kind that empowers you to pray with authority instead of anxiety. The kind that helps you make decisions based on vision, not insecurity. This boldness will grow in subtle ways. You'll notice yourself speaking truth without trembling. You'll notice yourself taking steps you once avoided. You'll notice your spirit growing louder than your fears. You'll notice clarity rising where confusion once lived. Boldness will become your new default, not because you're forcing confidence, but because you're walking closer to me. And when you walk with me, fear loses its footing. In this next season, I'm calling you to step into places that require courage. Relationships may shift. Opportunities may feel intimidating. Doors may open that stretch your comfort zone. But you will walk through them with confidence, because I am with you, strengthening your spirit from the inside out. This is your season of rising, not quietly, timidly, or halfway, but boldly, confidently, fully aligned with who I created you to be. Before you step into your next decision, hear this. I am teaching you how to discern what is truly from me and what only looks good on the surface. You have spent years trying to navigate choices, relationships, opportunities, commitments, directions, hoping you're making the right decisions but often battling confusion, second-guessing, and hesitation. You've had moments where things looked perfect but turned out empty, where people seemed genuine but left you wounded, where opportunities sparkled but carried hidden burdens. And each time, you blamed yourself as if your intuition failed you. But you need to understand, discernment is not something you are supposed to master alone. It is something I teach you through experience, wisdom, stillness, Scripture, and the gentle movements of my Spirit within you. There is a reason I allowed certain things to fall apart even when you prayed they wouldn't. There is a reason I closed some doors no matter how hard you knocked. There is a reason some people drifted even though you tried to hold on. It was protection. Discernment often looks like disappointment at first, but later, it reveals itself as rescue. Now, I am sharpening your spiritual perception so you can recognize my voice above the noise, my peace above confusion, my timing above your impatience. I am teaching you the difference between temporary attraction and long-term alignment, between emotional pull and spiritual truth, between what flatters you and what forms you, between what drains you and what grows you. Going forward, you will feel a deeper sense of knowing, a clearer inner yes, a stronger inner no. Not a guess, not a wish, not a fear, but discernment. I will guide your instincts. I will illuminate your mind. I will nudge your spirit when something is off. I will strengthen your peace when something is right. And you will stop walking into traps disguised as blessings. You will stop accepting counterfeits dressed as promises. You will stop entertaining people who cannot walk with the future I'm giving you. Discernment is not about making life easy. It's about keeping your spirit safe. And I am training you now so the next season of your life is not shaped by confusion but guided by clarity. Listen carefully, because this truth will reshape your entire rhythm. I am healing your relationship with rest. You've lived most of your life believing that rest must be earned, justified, or postponed. You've been conditioned to keep going even when you're drained, to keep serving even when you're empty, to keep performing even when your heart is asking for quiet. Somewhere along the way, you adopted the belief that slowing down equals falling behind, that taking a break means being irresponsible, that rest is a luxury rather than a necessity. But this belief has harmed you. It has strained your mind, exhausted your spirit, and weakened your emotional reserves. And now, I am stepping into this area of your life to bring deep restoration. Rest is not a reward, it is a command. Rest is not laziness, it is alignment. Rest is not weakness, it is worship. When you rest, you acknowledge that you are not the one holding your world together. I am. When you rest, you allow me to replenish what life has drained. When you rest, you create space for your spirit to hear me more clearly. But because you have spent so many years tying your worth to productivity, rest feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, even unsafe. So I am healing the internal belief that tells you you must always be doing something to be valuable. I am healing the anxiety that rises when you slow down. I am healing the guilt you feel when you put yourself first. I am healing the patterns that keep you exhausted, distracted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your own soul. This healing will show up in small ways at first. You'll crave silence instead of overstimulation. You'll begin to notice when your body is asking for rest. You'll set boundaries without apologizing. You'll take breaks without feeling shame. You'll breathe deeper, think clearer, and move slower, not out of laziness, but out of intentional grace. You will rediscover joy in stillness, peace in quiet moments, clarity in pauses. Rest will no longer feel like a threat. It will feel like a gift. And the more you allow rest into your life, the more strength, creativity, wisdom, and resilience I can pour into you. Rest is not something you earn. It is something I give. And now, I am restoring it to you. Listen closely, because this is a truth your soul has been quietly aching for. I am preparing your heart for healthy love, not the kind that wounds you, drains you, or leaves you questioning yourself, but the kind that reflects my heart toward you. You have known versions of love that were unpredictable, unstable, conditional, or confusing. You've loved people who didn't know how to love you back. You've held on to relationships that broke your spirit more than they built it. You've tolerated treatment you never deserved because you hoped things would change. You said it's okay to things that were never okay. And over time, these experiences shape the way you see love, the way you expect love, and the way you protect yourself from love. You've built walls, not because you're incapable of love, but because you've been hurt by those who mishandled your heart. But hear me. I am dismantling every lie, every fear, every wound that told you love is something you must chase, fear, perform for, or settle for. I am preparing your heart for something healthier, purer, safer. Healthy love doesn't confuse you. It brings clarity. Healthy love doesn't drain you. It nourishes you. Healthy love doesn't silence your needs. It honors them. Healthy love doesn't shrink you. It celebrates who you are. This is the kind of love I've always intended for you, and I am first shaping it within you before I place it around you. I am healing the insecurities that once made you cling to the wrong people. I am strengthening the boundaries that will protect your peace. I am restoring the parts of you that grew numb from disappointment. I am softening your heart without letting it become unguarded. I am showing you that love is not supposed to be painful. Growth may be, but love itself is not meant to wound your soul. There will come a time when someone enters your life who mirrors the healing I'm doing inside you. Someone whose presence feels like peace, not pressure. Someone who sees you clearly and doesn't run. Someone who honors your heart instead of exploiting it. Someone who values your spirit instead of taking advantage of your compassion. And when that moment comes, you will know. Not because it will feel overwhelming or dramatic, but because it will feel steady, safe, aligned. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for affection. You won't have to question their intentions. Healthy love grows in the soil of wholeness, and I am preparing that soil in you now. You not rush this process. You not fear it. The love I'm preparing for you will not repeat the patterns of your past. Your heart is being made ready, not for another heartbreak, but for a blessing wrapped in love. Before you hide yourself again, hear me with your whole heart. I am breaking the power of shame over you, completely, permanently, lovingly. Shame has followed you like a shadow, clinging to memories you can't erase, tying itself to mistakes you've outgrown, whispering lies that paint you as unworthy, unlovable, or beyond redemption. Shame is not merely guilt. It is a burden that attaches itself to identity. It tells you that your flaws define you. It tells you that your past mistakes dictate your future. It tells you that you're too broken to be loved, too flawed to be chosen, too stained to be seen with grace. And even when forgiveness has been given, shame tries to keep you bound. But hear me clearly, shame is not from me. It never has been. Shame is a weapon of the enemy, meant to silence you, isolate you, and convince you that you cannot come close to me. I am breaking that weapon now. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not the echo of your regrets. You are not the mistakes you made in confusion, pain, fear, or immaturity. I see every moment of your story, and I do not turn away. My grace does not shrink back from your mess. It moves toward it with healing. The parts of yourself you try to hide, I already know them, and I love you still. The memories that haunt you, I have already forgiven them. The shame that tries to make a home in your heart, I'm driving it out right now. You were never meant to live beneath its weight. Shame loses its power when truth steps in, and the truth is this: you are forgiven, you are redeemed, you are washed clean, you are made new. I do not rehearse your past, I restore your future. I am removing the voice of shame from the deepest parts of you. You will no longer see yourself through the lens of your lowest moments. You will no longer speak about yourself with the language of self-condemnation. You will no longer walk through life shrinking, hiding, or apologizing for existing. Shame is breaking. Identity is rising. I love is rewriting the narrative of your soul. You are worthy because I said so. Worthy because my grace covers you. Worthy because my love claims you. Shame will not have the final word. I will. And my word over you is freedom. Before confusion convinces you that you're lost, let me speak. I am bringing you into a season of clarity. You've been walking through a fog, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, trying to make sense of decisions, feelings, shifts, and transitions that left you uncertain. You've prayed for direction, but sometimes heard only quiet. You've looked for signs, but felt unsure how to interpret them. You've questioned whether you're on the right path, whether you've made the right moves, whether you're truly aligned with my will. The uncertainty has worn on you. It has drained you. It has made you hesitate when you once moved confidently. But confusion is not your portion. Clarity is. And clarity is coming. I am untangling the knots in your mind. I am quieting the noise that made it difficult to hear me. I am aligning your steps with precision so you no longer feel like you're guessing your way through life. Clarity will not arrive through pressure. It will come through peace. You will begin to understand why certain things ended, why certain people left, why certain opportunities closed, why certain desires shifted, why certain disappointments occurred. The pieces that once looked scattered will begin to form a picture, and you will say, "Now I see it." This clarity will touch every area of your life: relationships, identity, purpose, decisions, boundaries, direction. You will no longer operate out of fear or uncertainty. You will move with intentionality. You will recognize the difference between distractions and divine alignment. You will hear my voice more distinctly. You will trust your spirit more confidently. And you will know, without question, when something is from me and when it is not. The days of confusion are closing. The fog is lifting. The path is becoming visible. And the clarity I am giving you will not lead to anxiety. It will lead to peace. You are stepping into a season where your yes will be clear, your no will be firm, and your direction will be unmistakably guided by my hand. You are not lost. You are being led, and now you will see where I am taking you. Before you rush ahead out of fear, pause and hear me. I am teaching you to trust the timing, not the pressure. You've been living with this quiet urgency inside you, an inner voice telling you you're behind, that you should be further along by now, that everyone else has figured out their lives while you're still navigating uncertainty. You've compared your pace to others until you could no longer tell the difference between genuine desire and anxiety-driven striving. You felt the world tug on you, demanding you hurry, demanding you deliver, demanding you have everything resolved by yesterday. But the pressure you feel is not coming from me. I do not rush you. I do not shame you for being in process. I do not measure you by the speed of your progress. I am the one who holds time, creates time, redeems time, and my timing for your life is not delayed. The pressure you feel has been pushing you toward decisions you're not ready to make, pushing you into emotional spaces you haven't healed from, pushing you toward outcomes you would not be able to sustain. But timing, my timing, protects you. It aligns circumstances. It aligns the right people. It aligns your inner growth with outer opportunity. You've been frustrated because something hasn't happened yet. But if it had happened earlier, it would have overwhelmed you, confused you, or slipped through your fingers. My timing is not a denial, it's preparation. You will begin to see the difference soon. The things that once felt urgent will lose their intensity. The places where you once felt rushed will begin to open naturally, without fear or force. I am untangling your relationship with time so you no longer confuse slowness with failure, waiting with punishment, delay with rejection. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything that was meant for you. My timing is protecting you from premature blessings that would collapse without the foundation I'm building in you. Move at the pace of peace, not panic. Move with intention, not pressure. Move with trust, not fear. You don't need to run ahead. I am already standing in your future, preparing what you're walking toward. And you will arrive exactly when you are ready. Before you lower your hopes again, listen. I am reshaping your expectations, not to disappoint you, but to elevate what you believe is possible. Life has taught you to brace yourself. You've learned to expect little so the pain of disappointment feels smaller. You've trained your heart to prepare for worst-case scenarios. You've convinced yourself not to get too excited, not to dream too boldly, not to hope too loudly. You thought you were protecting yourself, but really, you were shrinking yourself. Circumstances dulled your expectations. Loss dimmed them. Rejection reshaped them. Delays weakened them. And without noticing, you lowered your internal ceiling, telling yourself that just getting by was enough. But I never created you for small living. I never fashioned you for barely surviving. I never intended for you to accept crumbs when I designed you for fullness. I am reshaping your expectations not by inflating them with fantasy, but by aligning them with truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of what I've placed inside you, the truth of the promises unfolding over your life. You've expected disappointment for so long that anticipating goodness feels foreign. But I am retraining your heart to expect what aligns with my care for you, not what aligns with your past experiences. This reshaping will feel like hope rising in places that once felt numb. It will feel like vision returning where you once abandoned your dreams. It will feel like believing again, not blindly, but boldly. You will expect favor, not failure. You will expect alignment, not chaos. You will expect peace, not turbulence. You will expect connection, not abandonment. You will expect beauty, not brokenness. Not because life is perfect, but because I am working in your life with purpose. I am expanding your capacity to receive good things. I am stretching your mind to see possibilities you once dismissed. I am lifting your expectations so you stop settling for the bare minimum. Your story is not headed toward disappointment. It's headed toward destiny. Lift your expectations to meet the reality of what I am preparing for you. Before you collapse under the fatigue you've been ignoring, listen. I am walking you out of emotional exhaustion. Slowly, gently, intentionally. You've been running on empty for a long time. You've pushed through days when your soul felt drained, nights when your mind was tired, moments when you were overstretched emotionally, but still kept going. You've been the strong one for others while neglecting the tenderness your own heart needed. You've swallowed your feelings to keep the peace. You've silenced your needs so you wouldn't burden anyone. You've stayed available to people who were rarely available to you. You've given compassion from a place that had none left. And now the exhaustion isn't just tiredness. It's emotional weariness that seeps into your thoughts, your energy, your hope. But I am not letting you live in that exhaustion. I am guiding you out of it. You will not stay depleted. You will not stay stretched beyond your limits. You will not stay emotionally starved. I am leading you into a season of replenishment, where you no longer confuse survival with strength, or overworking with commitment, or self-neglect with humility. Emotional exhaustion isn't a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you've carried too much without rest, without support, without release. And I am stepping into that place now to begin restoring you. This restoration will not be rushed. You will feel it gradually, your emotions softening, your patience returning, your joy resurfacing in small ways. You will begin to notice what drains you and walk away without guilt. You will notice who drains you and set boundaries without fear. You will no longer say yes because you're afraid of disappointing others. You will no longer allow people to treat your heart like a bottomless well. Your capacity will return, but in a healthier, more sustainable way. I am teaching you how to nurture yourself, how to listen to your needs, how to honor your limits, how to rest without apology. You are not meant to be emotionally exhausted forever. You are being rebuilt, rebalanced, and restored. And soon, you will feel like yourself again. Not the version of you that was barely getting through, but the version of you I've been healing toward all along. Before you tell yourself not to get your hopes up, hear me. I am restoring your capacity to hope again, fully, freely, without fear of disappointment. Somewhere along the road, life taught you to hold your hope with trembling hands. You've experienced the sting of expectations unmet, prayers that felt unanswered, seasons that didn't unfold the way you believed they would. And bit by bit, you began to approach hope cautiously, quietly, almost reluctantly, like something fragile you weren't sure you had the right to hold anymore. You started aiming low so you wouldn't be hurt again. You started expecting little so you wouldn't cry again. You started convincing yourself that maybe hope was dangerous because it raised you high only to let you fall. But I am the one who planted hope in you, not to torment you but to strengthen you, to sustain you, to pull you into what is possible through me. Hope was never meant to be the enemy hopelessness is. And I am breaking that hopelessness off you now. I am restoring your heart in ways the world could never do. I am healing the place where disappointment made a nest. I am breathing life into the places where grief settled too deeply. You will feel hope begin to rise again, not because circumstances look perfect, but because your spirit will begin to heal. Hope is not the absence of hardship, it is the presence of promise. It is the quiet belief that even in the unseen, something good is being shaped. You have been holding your breath emotionally for too long. Now I am teaching your heart to inhale again. Hope will begin returning like strength returning after an illness. Slowly, gently, steadily. You will find yourself imagining a better future without immediately shutting it down. You will catch yourself smiling at possibilities you once dismissed. You will allow your heart to dream without scolding it back into fear. You will see signs of life where you once only saw endings. And when hope returns, it will not feel naive. It will feel sacred. Because it won't be hope built on your own effort. It will be hope revived by my presence within you. Do not fear hope anymore. It is your lifeline, not your weakness. It is the signal that your heart is healing. It is the evidence that you are becoming whole. Let hope rise. I am restoring its place in you. Before you fear the unknown, hear this truth. I am guarding you from dangers, disappointments, and disruptions you don't even see coming. You've been worried about what might go wrong, worried about future heartbreaks, future failures, future losses, future storms. You've spent nights imagining worst-case scenarios, preparing your heart for things that haven't even happened. And because you cannot see everything, you assume you're unprotected. But you do not realize how many things never reached you because my hand blocked them. How many traps you never fell into because my wisdom redirected you. How many heartbreaks you never experienced because I closed doors you begged me to open. How many opportunities you think you lost, when truly they were shields I put in place to protect your spirit, your future, and your peace. You judge your journey by what you can see, but I guide your journey by what you cannot see. You see disappointment, I see protection. You see rejection, I see redirection. You see delay, I see preparation. You see unanswered prayers, I see avoided disasters. My guarding is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Sometimes it looks like confusion. But behind every no, every not yet, every this isn't the one, I am shielding you from something that would have harmed you more deeply than you realize. There are conversations you were never meant to hear, conflicts you were never meant to engage, people you were never meant to trust, places you were never meant to settle, and choices you were never meant to make. I have been guarding you from them all. And even now, I am clearing paths in the unseen realm, removing threats before they come near you, exposing what was hidden, extinguishing what was rising against you, silencing what was speaking against you, blocking what was assigned to you. You are not as vulnerable as you feel. You are divinely protected. Do not fear the unknown. Even when you cannot see the danger, I can. Even when you don't know what's ahead, I do. And I am guarding you, not loosely, not passively, but fiercely, intentionally, constantly. Your steps are shielded. Your spirit is covered. Your future is defended. You are safer than you think. Before you settle into the belief that life will always feel this heavy, listen. I am preparing to surprise you with goodness. Real, undeniable, personal goodness. You've grown used to bracing for impact. You've been conditioned by past pain to expect struggle instead of blessing, delays instead of breakthroughs, silence instead of answers. You've tried to stay hopeful, but your heart has secretly accepted the rhythm of maybe things just won't change for me. You don't say it out loud, but sometimes you live as if joy is reserved for others, as if breakthrough is something you observe but never experience, as if blessing is something that arrives for everyone else while you stand on the sidelines. But hear me clearly. You have not been overlooked, forgotten, or bypassed. I am preparing a wave of goodness that will feel so personal, so timely, so deeply tailored to your heart that you will know it was me. Goodness is not random. It is intentional. It is the fruit of seeds you've sown in faith, tears you've cried in private, battles you fought silently, obedience you've chosen when no one was watching. You've walked through long seasons that taught you endurance, but now you are approaching a season that will teach you joy. Not surface-level joy, deep joy. The kind that settles into the bones. The kind that lights your spirit. The kind that restores what heaviness drained. You will experience answers that arrive suddenly. Opportunities that make you pause in disbelief. Relationships that feel like healing. Moments of provision that come right when you need them. Doors that open so smoothly you will know my hand pushed them for you. This goodness won't be a reward. It will be a reminder. A reminder that I've seen every moment of your journey. A reminder that I've been working even when you felt forgotten. A reminder that my timing is not late, it's perfect. A reminder that I am a father who delights in blessing his children. Get ready, not by striving, but by softening your heart. Leave room for joy again. Let yourself believe again. Let yourself expect goodness again. The season of heaviness is not the end of your story. You are walking toward unexpected, undeniable, unexplainable goodness, and it's closer than you think. Before you take another step under the weight of false narratives, listen carefully. I am undoing the lies you believed about yourself. Lies that were planted in moments of pain, spoken in moments of weakness, or absorbed in seasons where your heart was vulnerable. You didn't choose these lies, they found you. They wrapped around your identity slowly, subtly, through unkind words, unmet needs, broken relationships, childhood wounds, disappointments, and the unspoken pressure to measure up. Over time, you began to mistake these lies for truth. Lies that said you were not enough, that you were hard to love, that you were always the problem, that you were replaceable, that your value depended on your productivity or performance. Lies that said your failures defined you, that your past disqualified you, that you shouldn't expect too much, that your voice didn't matter, that you were too much or not enough. These lies have shaped how you see yourself, how you make decisions, how you allow people to treat you, and how you approach your future, but they are not from me. I am reaching into the deepest layers of your identity, peeling back what never belonged to you. I am silencing the internal critic that sounds so familiar you thought it was your own voice. I am dismantling the false labels you've carried for years. I am rewriting the belief system that was built on pain instead of truth. You will begin to feel this undoing in subtle but powerful ways. Moments where something inside you stands up and says, "No, that's not who I am." Moments where you no longer accept mistreatment because you understand your worth. Moments where discouraging thoughts don't settle in your spirit the way they used to. Moments where you recognize the lie instantly instead of wrestling with it for days. I am restoring your identity, not the version shaped by wounds, but the version shaped by me. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not insignificant. You are not a burden. You are not a mistake. You are not falling behind. You are not invisible. You are not unworthy of love, respect, joy, or stability. You are my creation, intentional, chosen, equipped, beloved. And as I undo the lies, truth will rise in their place. A new confidence will emerge. A new self-understanding will take root. A new strength will shape your decisions. You are being freed from internal narratives that were never yours to carry. Before you try to mold yourself into someone else's expectations again, hear this: I am bringing you into alignment with who you truly are. The version of you I designed before life tried to reshape you through pressure, fear, and survival. You spent much of your life adjusting yourself, shrinking in one room, expanding in another, changing your tone, silencing your truth, bending your boundaries, performing for acceptance, hiding your needs, downplaying your strengths. You've adapted so much that at times you've lost sight of your own identity. Some of your choices have come from survival, not authenticity. Some of your behaviors have come from pain, not personality. Some of your silence has come from fear, not peace. But you are entering a season where those layers will begin to fall away, and the real you, the you I formed with intention, will emerge with clarity. Alignment means returning to center, returning to truth, returning to the version of yourself that is not shaped by trauma, rejection, or insecurity, but by purpose, calling, and divine design. I'm aligning your thoughts with clarity, your emotions with stability, your relationships with mutuality, your boundaries with wisdom, your desires with purpose, and your choices with truth. You will no longer feel torn between who you want to be and who you've been forced to be. You will no longer betray yourself just to be accepted. You will no longer abandon your needs to keep peace. I am anchoring you into your identity, secure, steady, authentic. This alignment may feel unfamiliar at first. As you rise into truth, some people will misunderstand. Some will resist the change. Some will fall away because they benefited from your misalignment. But those who are meant to walk with you will celebrate your clarity, not question it. They will embrace your authenticity, not fear it. They will honor your boundaries, not test them. And most importantly, you will feel more like yourself than you have in years. This is the season where you come home to who you truly are. Before you attempt to hold on to one more thing that is weighing you down, hear me. I am calling you to release what you can no longer carry, because not everything that made it into your past belongs in your future. You have held on out of loyalty, out of fear, out of habit, out of hope, out of confusion, out of believing that letting go meant failure. You've carried responsibilities that no longer belong to you. You've carried relationships that drained your spirit. You've carried memories that reopened wounds. You've carried expectations that were never yours to meet. You've carried identities shaped by old seasons instead of new ones. And even though your heart feels the heaviness, you've clung tightly out of the fear of what might happen if you let go. But release is not loss. It is obedience. It is protection. It is alignment. It is freedom. You cannot step into the next chapter with arms full of what belongs to the last one. Release does not mean rejection. Release means you are making room. Making room for peace. Making room for healing. Making room for healthy relationships. Making room for joy. Making room for opportunities. Making room for who you are becoming. Some things were only meant to accompany you for a season, not a lifetime. Some burdens were meant to be handed to me, not held by you. Some relationships were meant to teach you, not anchor you. Some identities were meant to be outgrown as you healed and evolve. As you release, something inside you will feel lighter, clearer, freer. You'll be able to breathe again. Think again. Dream again. Move again. Letting go will not break you. It will save you. I am calling you into a new level of surrender, where you stop clinging to what drains you and begin embracing what aligns with my purpose for your life. Release is not an ending. Release is an opening. And what I place in your hands next will require the space you are now creating. Before you assume your best days are behind you, hear this final truth. I am bringing you into the life you were always meant to live. The life that aligns with your purpose, your healing, your identity, and your destiny. You've endured seasons that felt like wandering, seasons that felt like waiting, seasons that felt like surviving more than living. There were times you questioned whether you'd missed something, whether you'd gone too far off course, whether you'd wasted too many years, whether your story had dimmed beyond repair. But you need to understand, nothing in your life has been wasted. Not a lesson, not a tear, not a delay, not a detour. Every step, even the painful ones, has been woven into a path that leads you here, to becoming who you were always meant to be. The life I'm calling you into is not built on fear, scarcity, or striving. It is built on peace, purpose, alignment, and freedom. It is a life where you don't have to pretend, where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to carry what isn't yours, where you don't have to shrink to be accepted. It is a life where you walk boldly, love deeply, rest freely, hope fully, and trust consistently. A life where your gifts flourish, your voice strengthens, your relationships reflect mutual honor, and your heart experiences joy without waiting for permission. You are stepping into a chapter where you will understand why certain things had to end, why certain doors stayed closed, why certain people were removed, why certain seasons required so much stretching and refining. You will look back and realize my hand was guiding you, not away from good things, but toward better things. Toward wholeness, toward purpose, toward a life that resonates with the deepest truth of who you are. You are not stepping into a random future. You are stepping into alignment with my intention for your life. And what comes next will not only feel new, it will feel like home. Amen.